operation.
It's always been involved with some winners, that's for sure.
Isn't that the truth? We're with Larry McReynolds up here, who joins us this afternoon after the win yesterday at Richmond International Raceway. Tell you something, and buddy, you can appreciate this, having been an owner, a driver, a long-time participant. What you guys are, what these fellows are doing with Robert Yates Racing, not just the 28, but the 88 for Dale Jarrett. It's almost unfair for the rest of the world out there, Larry. You guys are having one whale of a second half of this year.
Well, we really are, you know, and it's just a tribute to everybody at Robert Yates Racing, from the guys in the engine shop, the chassis shop, the pit crews. And the big key thing here is the teamwork, the team effort. We feel like we're one team fielding two cars, and I think that's the reason the success is there.
You saw the Eric Bodine car. He had an oil line fitting that came loose. You saw those bottles of yellow Pennzoil racing oil. They're putting it back into the car, and Eric will be back on the racetrack when we return.
The MBNA 200, Saturday on TNN Motorsports. The Dukes of Hazzard, weekdays at 4 and 7 on TNN.
So you're building that deck with Time Life to help you along. You might want to add some built-in benches, page 50. How about a brick patio, guaranteed weed-proof, and a lot easier on your checkbook than some contractor would be.
Now with Home Repair, you get 2 books for $2. Order decks, porches, and patios for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Those new countertops sure look good, and doing it yourself probably saved a bundle. So you could do that built-in recycling bin she wanted. Step by step, Time Life makes it easy.
With Home Repair, you get professional results at do-it-yourself prices. Use your credit card to order decks for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Home Repair makes you a real hero around the house. So why don't you give them a call? They'd probably love to hear from you.
Call 1-800-791-0303 to get 2 books for only $2. Use your credit card to order decks, porches, and patios, and you'll get kitchens free. Or send check or money order for $1.99 plus $3.95 shipping to the address on your screen.
Well, there's Ted Christopher trying to find his way to victory lane in the NASCAR Busch North Series event. He's 11 laps away from getting there, buddy.
He's going to have to work hard. Just behind him there in the 15 car, Jerry Marquis, very, very quick. And I don't know whether Stefanik dropped back or whether he's maybe having a bit of a problem right now. But if he's running full song, look out.
You know, they're getting the one to go here, and when they get the green flag, there's going to be about 10 laps to go. And the thing about it, you know, Ted Christopher seems like he's got the best race car. Marquis been coming with that vibration. The thing that cannot happen here is Marquis and Stefanik can't get too caught up racing each other, or Christopher's going to pull away from him.
Ted Christopher, he has had a lot of success in the SK Modifieds. Although on the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour this year, he's looking for his first victory. And as far as his points this year, he is 31st right now in what is going to be his 9th start of the season. And he only has 1 top 10 to show in this series. So this could be a huge celebration in victory lane if he holds on.
It could that, Eli. But one thing you got to think about, with 10 laps to go, anybody in the top 10, maybe 11 cars right there, actually has a chance, because you get in the corner racing side by side, a couple of cars get sideways, you're not out of it.
Well, he had a 2.7-second lead before that final caution. Let's see what Christopher can do here. Green is in the air, and Jerry Marquis stays right with him. We're only going to lap 125, remember. So we're within just 8 laps of the finish. Problems for the 72 of John Preston. But he's out of everybody's way as the field works the back straightaway. And boy, Christopher has gotten gone. And here goes Stefanik for second. He'll get by Marquis. Whoa! And around goes Marquis. Caution is on the Speedway, though he does not make major contact with the wall. Oh, but now Dion gets into him, the 29. As Dale Shaw in the 60 tries to go to the outside, and we are under caution, lap 116.
Robbie Crouch just got into the back of him going down into turn 3 there. Just very light touch, but in that part of the racetrack, that's all you have to do.
And there's Tom Carey sitting in the grass, not exactly excited about his day. Here's another look.
Stefanik had went by Marquis. They go off in the corner. Robbie Crouch just gets into the back of Marquis just enough to send him spinning. Robbie Crouch evades to the bottom. Joe Bessie makes an awesome move. A lot of cars go by. As Marquis gets his car back going, you're going to see some more of the field coming here. He tries to get down the bottom, and there's Dave Dion right there and starts stacking up behind him. Quite a traffic jam.
And you saw Tom Carey, who was also off the in the grass, number 2, and gave him a pretty good hit, just enough at a racetrack like this to send you around.
That's the thing, you know, you're looking at 7 or 8 laps to go, and these guys are fighting for position. I'm sure Robbie Crouch didn't go in there and say, okay, I'm going to spin Marquis out. It's just one of those deals where he had a lot more momentum getting down into the corner.
And Carey had a good run going. We mentioned in the number 2 machine. That was one of old Dick McCabe's cars they found, as he said. We found it out back. I said, like in the weeds or something. He said, yeah, that's where. And there you see the work that has to be done now. Trying to get the 83 Jeff Neal's machine back in gear, but not with 7 miles to go in this race. Their day is done early.
Eli, Joe Bessie is not out of this thing. He's in 3rd place right now. He knows this racetrack in front of his home crowd. I bet every highway patrolman in this part of the world is pulling for him right now.
I would bet so. And right behind him there, Dennis Demers, he is running in the 4th spot. There he is in the 86 machine from Shelburne, Vermont. Shares a hometown with Kevin LePage, who has made a good name for himself on the NASCAR Busch Series.
For the people that don't know what I'm talking about with Joe Bessie, New Hampshire troopers are sponsoring his car for this event, so I'm sure they're pulling for him. Joe Bessie's doing a great job and did a great job of missing that wreck just a second ago.
He really did. He drove straight to the bottom, just used up every bit of racetrack that was down there, and fortunately nobody come down on him. And you know, Joe started up near the front. It's like his car faded a little bit. It's like they've made some adjustments on it as the races went on, and there he is, 3rd place with about 6 laps to go.
Now, I believe we've mentioned Bessie's sponsorship with the state troopers 4 times. Glenn, if you can make it an even 5, I think we get a get out of this ticket free card.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I said something, but actually what I was going to tell Buddy, all the highway patrolmen in New Hampshire are pulling for Joe Bessie. They're just waiting on me to get back to North Carolina.
We are at lap 119 on the scoreboard. Average speed is 88.110 miles an hour, slowed obviously by 7 cautions. Let's set it for you. You got still 26 cars on the lead lap, but the significant winner possibilities: Ted Christopher, Stefanik, Bessie, whom you're looking at, in 3rd spot. Demers is 4th. Crouch in the 5th spot. Tom Bowles behind him in 6th. Kelly Moore is backslid to 7th. Brandon Butler is now in the 8th spot. Andy Santerre is 9th. Michael Laughlin is being shown in 10th.
I believe we're going to know right from the restart is Stefanik going to be strong enough to get up there and catch Christopher. If he can't, maybe the battle here will be between Stefanik and Joe Bessie for second.
Nobody's been able to stay with Christopher lately on these restarts. Let's see.
Well, the drag race is on as they head down towards turn 1. It looks like Christopher has a really good start there. Stefanik in second going into turn 1. Look at Joe Bessie, though, come right up on the back bumper, Stefanik.
That's a good battle for second. Christopher's already away, as you see, by 3, now 4. Make it 5 car lengths. And Christopher's getting restarts like Dale Earnhardt or like Ron Hornaday. Good scramble for second as Stefanik goes wide. Bessie and Demers will be coming through in the 1 and 86 respectively.
I would say that Joe Bessie used a little bit of that chrome horn. That's what we call a front bumper on Stefanik there. He just moved him enough to get under him, and that was enough to get him a little bit out of shape. You see that he's fallen back quite a bit there.
And Christopher is now gone by 15 car lengths. As you look at second on back, Christopher's not even in the same picture. There you see the spread. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go.
The 6th car, Robbie Crouch, has run a super race today. He's been up front 2 or 3 times, dropped back in the field. You see him trying to take 3rd spot as they go down the back straightaway.
Crouch looking, waiting. Couldn't get the jump. Christopher is clearly gone. He gets the signal now. A bit over 2 miles remaining.
Routes may be just a little bit quicker than Deemer's, but Deemer's running that bottom line, making that car real wide here with less than 2 laps to go.
There's your top 5. I don't believe anybody's going to touch Ted Christopher. Will be coming to the white flag this time.
Eli, you touched on it right there. Christopher is very strong. It's his race to lose now. He has to make a mistake to lose, but that can happen.
The restarts have been so impressive for him today. I mean, as Rusty Wallace likes to say, when it comes time to launch, you got to go. That's the word Rusty always uses. And that's been Christopher's deal here today. He's had leads of nearly 3 seconds a couple of times.
And you know, Eli, those restarts has got to be a lot what's under the hood of those cars, because if you run a V8, you're pretty limited on what gear you run. It's not like you can run a real low gear. Everybody pretty much runs about the same rear end gear.
Ted Christopher coming to the checkers. He's got the win. Bessie is second. DeBears is third. Crouch is fourth. Stefanik is fifth. Kelly Moore will come home sixth. Mike Laughlin will be seventh. And Santerre comes home in the 8th spot ahead of Brandon Butler and 63-year-old Stub Fadden. As we saw him come across the stripe, should take 10th place honors. But it's emotional, I'll tell you, when you pick up any win on a big NASCAR Touring Series, particularly when it's your first major win on a big super speedway such as this. And we'll be hearing from Ted Christopher in Victory Lane. And don't forget, folks, 2 more races coming up here in New Hampshire, all on TNN Motorsports.
I'm the King Grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
There's no track in the world that's tougher on brakes than the one in Martinsville, Virginia. And when drivers take the green flag here, they all have one thing in common: the same brand of brakes. Because without them, you can't come down this straightaway at 120 miles an hour and still make it through the turn. So which brand do the top drivers use to get them through 500 laps at Martinsville? Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. And we stock them at AutoZone.
You like the action? Do you crave excitement? Then listen up.
TNN Motorsports and Miller present the Win with the Driver Sweepstakes Year 2. We're bringing it back for repeat performance. Enter today and you can win a trip for 2 to one of these live Winston Cup races. You'll also get spending money, a complimentary team jacket, a tour of the Miller team's rig and pit, meet Rusty Wallace, and more.
Hey, cool.
And if Rusty wins the race, you get $5,000. If he finishes, you pocket a cool grand.
You feeling lucky?
To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your entries.
Get your entry in by September 20th, then watch Race Day on TNN September 29th to find out if you're going to the AC Delco 400. Remember, if you don't win this time, your entry is eligible for the next drawing.
Enter now.
This sweepstakes is brought to you by Split Fire Spark Plugs and 104 Plus Octane Boost.
I'm the King Grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
And we're back in Victory Lane at New Hampshire International Speedway for the first time in his NASCAR Busch North Series career. Ted Christopher in Victory Lane. I knew this was going to be crazy. Guys, don't kill him before we get a chance to talk to him now. Okay. Ted, congratulations, man. Great job. You had the car right from the start, it looked like.
Yeah, we did. You know, we've had a good car up here before a lot of times and just never seem to get to the finish. It's weird. It's supposed to be real happy when you win, but never cried before when I won. This is a good win for us all. Right, to really thank Les Care Kitchens for staying along with us. They came on as a big sponsor for us and had a lot of tough breaks. You know, we've led races and started from the back and got to the front and just never could finish. And I was really worried about the tires on this whole deal. And I thank Teddy Marsh for making a call on that, just putting gas in the car. But the car was just awesome from the start. You know, it drove real good. And I have a tough time driving it easy because I'm used to driving the modifieds, and they kept telling me, go slow, go slow. I says, I'm going slow, I think. I don't know. But
Well, what a day to pick to win. You got a national TV audience, a lot of people in the racing world looking at what's going on here today. You couldn't have picked a better one.
Yeah, it is. You know, last time we had a real fast car and it rained out here, and we were supposed to start up front. I was like, geez, I woke up this morning, I see it raining again, and I'm starting up front. I said, I'm never going to be able to get this race in, you know, and show people really what we can do as a team. And that was good. I'm really glad to finish first, finally.
Congratulations again. There's a whole mob over here waiting to kill him. I'm getting out of here, Eli.
Sounds like a heck of a good time down there as Ted Christopher picks up the win after leading 3 times for 101 laps today. Let's take a look at some of the top finishers for you. Behind Christopher and Bessie, Demers comes home third. As we told you, there is the top 10, including the ageless one, Stub Fadden, coming home in the 10th spot. After the 125 laps, Tom Bowles backslid. Marquis with the problems you saw. Gigi Gravel in 17th spot. And Rondo wrapping up the top 20, taking you further back to the top 30. That's where Brad Layton finally backslid after his problems that brought him down the pit lane early. He comes home in the 30th spot here today for the NASCAR Busch North Series. What do you think, Larry McReynolds?
Well, I tell you, I've not really watched a Busch North race before, but I tell you, these guys raced hard from lap 1 to lap 125. And there was racing all the way back through the field. And I tell you what, I've been fortunate to go to Victory Lane a lot of times. Sure. That's the first time I've ever seen a swan dive off the roof.
And I bet you if Joe Bessie had gotten there, Matt, he probably would have done the same thing.
Eli, as much bad luck as you've had over the past couple of years, second place must feel like a win today.
Yeah, it does. This place in September has been so good to me. We've won here 2 years in a row, and glad to see somebody new win if I couldn't win. I'm so happy for the New Hampshire State Troopers Association. A real different approach for them to promote seat belts, but this worked out great. A hometown crowd here. I'm happy for Fisher Snowplows, Delco Remy America. Just been a long year, and we had a good run yesterday going and just couldn't finish it off. And today we started out not so good, and the car got strong in the end, and just kind of a good way to get things going here, to get a seat in the truck there.
Quick question for you. Glenn and I were wondering if you might have any get-out-of-free jail cards you could maybe pass over to us for our time we spend up here in New Hampshire.
I bet I got a few more friends now than I used to have, especially in the media business, Glenn.
Joe Bessie, surrounded by the folks from the New Hampshire State Troopers who, as you heard, were seriously using this medium to try and promote the use of seatbelts, which is something that needs to be done all across this nation of ours. 2 more races coming up. Don't you go away.
When I punch the clock, I'm a working machine. I got boots that do the job, got my Wolverines. Lay a span of bridge, make that molten steel pour. I can build a better country and keep coming back for more. I can work like hell with my hands and my tools, cause I feel like heaven in my Wolverine boots. Wolverine DuraShocks, guaranteed comfort or your money back. Work like hell, feel like heaven. Wolverine DuraShocks, made in the USA.
46 cents. A great price on all high-quality Lee oil filters. Only 46 cents after mail-in rebate. All Lee oil filters, an incredible low 46 cents. At all Pep Boys and Parts USA stores now.
When you build a country by hand, you're going to get a little dirty doing it. And for 100 years, America's dirtiest hands have been coming clean with lava. Pumice-powered lava, cleaning the hands that make America strong.
America's most sought-after video has finally come home. Cops, Too Hot for TV. What the censors would not let you see is now available at a video store near you. This explosive video contains the most shocking footage ever recorded for cops. From the wacky to the wild. It's uncut, uncensored, unbelievable. Capture it now and you'll see it all.
It's the coolest tape I've ever seen. It's so much fun. I love cops.
This is the greatest video I've seen this year.
You gotta get it. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Get Cops Too Hot for TV. Even cops can't believe it. Now available at Coconuts, Saturday Matinee, Record Town, and video stores everywhere. Or call 1-800-247-5151 and order direct.
Well, one race is done, and coming up next at New Hampshire International Speedway, NASCAR's ground-pounding open-wheel NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour. They ran yesterday. They'll duplicate it again today. The star of the weekend could well be Steve Park. After finishing second in the Busch North race, he took the victory in the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour event. Going past series point leader Tony Hirschman to grab the victory, Steve Park took it on home to victory lane, though Hirschman continues to lead the points. It is 133 points of an advantage for Hirschman over Steve Park. Matt Yoakum is with the point leader.
Well, Eli, down here with Tony Hirschman, 2 wins and a second place this year, but you're surrounded by a bunch of Goodyear guys. Not a lot of Hoosier friends out here.
Yeah, they did real well qualifying for this race. Hopefully we can, I can get up front there with Jan Leedy's on the pole, and we can pull away from these guys like we did, like I did yesterday. But guys are awful tough today, and it's a longer race than we had yesterday, and we just got to settle in and play with these guys a while, and hopefully by the end of the race, then we can stretch it back out again, work on building up a little bit of a lead or getting away from the rest of them.
Well, Hirschman goes for his 3rd win of the season. Glenn is standing by with someone a little deeper in the field who's a former winner here at Loudon.
And he put on one heck of a show yesterday. I'm talking about number 6X. That's Mike Stefanik, the hottest guy in the modified division right now. As Eli said, won 4 out of his last 6 races. 3 out of 5 of those were modified tour events. Mike Stefanik, a great run there in the Busch North race. You got shoved out of the groove a little bit, but can't wait to get this modified started.
Yeah, it was sure good for Burnham. They got a lot of people here. Yeah, the Busch car is a little tight there near the end, and Bessie kind of gave me a little nudge, get me out of the groove. But hey, we're good to go in this modified race. We had a great car yesterday. Had to go to the back, zipped up through, got to 5th. We got a lot more time today. I can be a little more patient. I think we got the car a little better, too.
Ooh, that's bad news for the rest of these guys because he caught the field. Mike Stefanik, as I said, been the guy to watch in the modified ranks, Eli.
He is the 1989 and 1991 NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour Series champion. So who's here today? Well, Jan Leedy is, and so too Mike Ewanitsko, who runs well on the short tracks, but is no slouch here on the big track either. Row number 2, Jerry Marquis. Sound familiar? Yeah, we just saw him a few minutes ago. And Tim Connolly, he's run well. Won a race in Nazareth a year ago. Tony Hirschman, the series point leader, and the man who trails him in points, Steve Park. They share row number 3. Tony Ferrari Jr. and Ed Kennedy sharing row number 4. Charlie Pasteryak had some good runs here the last couple of weeks at Stafford in New Hampshire. And there's Ted Christopher, fresh from Victory Lane, here in our first race of the day. Row number 6, Ken Woolley Jr. and the other brother part of the Pasteryak clan, that is veteran Carl Pasteryak. Row number 7, Mike Stefanik, from whom we've just heard, and Rick Fuller, who in a backup car is going to have to go to the back of the field here on the pace lap from row number 7. Row number 8, Eddie Flemke Jr., the son of a great modified ace, and Dan Avery. Row number 9, veteran Reggie Ruggiero and Brad Hietala, whose company builds a lot of these cars. Veteran Long Islander Tom Baldwin and Tim Mangus. Again, some driver changes we'll talk about. Chris Amon and Carl Erickson, none of these fellows moving to the back of the field after missing the drivers meeting earlier. Row number 12, George Kent and veteran Jamie Tomeno. The 13th starting row, Bruce D'Alessandro and Bruce Taylor. They share the 13th row. Doug Meservey and Chris Kopech in row number 14. Big field of starters. Bert Marvin and Dan Meservey Jr. 31st spot, Bobby Gagetskas and Sam Russo. Bill Woods and Dunk Rudolph. That's row number 17. Pat DuPont and Bob Park. That's right. S.J. Avanchin and Jake Moroz. Bob Park, we were talking about earlier. Steve Park, the younger member of that family. Wade Cole, and there's TV Tim DeRoyne. Normally runs camera 2 for us on these telecasts, but he's behind the wheel of the TNN Motorsports Modified. We'll tell you about him in a moment.
I'm the King Grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, hanging, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
The new giant Caesar makes everything else look small.
What are you looking at? The Grand Canyon. Where? Right there. Where? Right there.
What you eating?
Giant Caesar.
What you stepping in?
Has to be China.
Everything looks small next to the Giant Caesar. What? From Little Caesars, giant slices with giant pepperoni. $9.99 carried out or have it delivered.
Pizza, pizza. I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, tangy, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Pennzoil VIP Discount Auto Centers triple header is brought to you by tangy Heinz 57 steak sauce. Let's eat. Welcome back, everybody. We mentioned that a few of the drivers will be dropping out of line. We told you about Rick Fuller in the backup car. Also, Dan Avery, Tim Mangus, Doug Meservey, and Sam Russo all missing the drivers' meeting, and they will be going to the back of the field on the pace lap. And, folks, if you have never seen NASCAR's open-wheeled modifieds pound the pavement here at New Hampshire, this is a treat, Buddy Baker. The way they get around here, they call it the bump draft. And this is really something different.
They actually touch each other down the straightaway, Eli. They get in a long, looks like a Congo line down the straightaway. The lead cars, of course, zigzagging, trying to lose the draft on the cars behind them. Everybody follows along. You'll see them go up, touch each other, move them along. The cars pick up 200-300 RPM down the straightaway, bump drafted.
Larry McReynolds, this is a different kind, as we talked earlier, a little different kind of technology that you and I touched on in the opening of the telecast.
Well, it really is, Eli. And, you know, this is going to be a treat for me watching a modified race from up here in the booth. I've always stood in the pits at Martinsville or something watching. And these cars have a lot of handling things built into them. They've got a really wide tread width. You know, they run like 15-inch wheels. That's about 8 to 10 inches more tread width than we have on the Winston Cup cars. They got a 3-inch shorter wheelbase. We're 110 inches. These guys is 107 inches. They can run as much as an 8-inch spoiler on the rear of the car. And we keep dickering with NASCAR what we're going to actually have. But, you know, that's about 2.5 more inches than we actually have. So a lot of downforce. And these cars really go through the corner fast. Then they really accelerate down those straightaways.
So the field now waiting to come to the green. This also a 125 lap event, 132.2 miles. And Jan Leedy quickly pulls away and tries to get the jump on the field. Mike Uinitsko in the 77 will tuck in line right behind. And not coming up to speed, Bobby G. Bobby Gagetskis. He limps his machine across the start-finish line, while down the pit lane, Wade Cole will go directly to the garage area. So Cole has problems on the start, as does Bobby G, but no problems for Jan Leedy. Mike Uinitsko right behind. The 4, that's Tim Conley, the yellow machine. They advertise it as a Dodge.
Called the Mystic Missile.
Yep.
And it is a missile. As you see him later on in the race, he starts out and kind of back. Well, as I say that, he starts to make a rumble up towards the front.
At 3 is Tony Hirschman, the point leader. The 0, Ed Kennedy, working to the outside. Field sorting itself out now. There's the battle for the lead. Uinitsko draws to the inside of Leedy. And making that outside work to his advantage, though.
Okay, they've got a little bit of heat in the tires now. You see them start to rumble. They move around. As you can see, Leedy has absolutely no way to fight back on the outside. Watch the cars try to close up on the bottom side there. That's the Mystic Missile in second there. He's really moving well.
So grabbing the lead now is Mike Uinitsko, the Long Islander. He'll work himself to the low side. They've caught Leedy to the outside, is trying to close the inside spot as Jerry Marquis in the 21. The Sunoco colors, that's Steve Park in the 8.
You watch this car when he gets dialed in. You talk about something moving through traffic. Steve Park has this thing flying down through here.
he was moving right from the beginning of the race. And you two guys that was really on the move right at the beginning was Steve Park and Jerry Marquis, who just come out of that Busch National North race. They wasted no time working their way to the front.
This reminds you of the old days with the nose-to-tail drafting that someone pulls out like Leedy does right there. Brings a couple of other guys along with him. Jan Leedy trying to grab the lead away from Mike Uinitsko, and he does take it right back at lap number 4.
Now you can see him bump drafting down the front straightaway. The 77 drops to the bottom side, but cannot make a move on Leedy.
21 Marquis for Tim Connolly. Here comes Park in the 8. 5 laps into this 125 lapper.
Eli, you can never understand why this isn't all over the country. I think the Eastern Modified Division is one of the finest organizations anywhere, and competition second to none.
And the great names that have graduated from this division is again Uinitsko makes the inside move on Jan Leedy. Marquis in the 21 just waiting.
You can see them giving hand signals as they go down the backstretch. Very similar to what we do at Daytona and Talladega, telling them to get in line, let's overhaul these guys, stay with me, and we'll go to the front.
Single file now through the top 6 until Marquis pulls out. There goes Park. He had an idea, I think, to go 3 wide.
Yeah, that's what it was looking like. Yeah, he decided he's going to get back down to the bottom.
That car, Steve Park, is, you talk about something flying around this racetrack. He just goes at will. When he pulls out, he makes it stick.
But Jerry Marquis now quickly takes the lead. So here we are in the 7th lap. Leedy, Uinitsko, and now Marquis have all showed the way here in New Hampshire. Oh, and problems right there as smoke came billowing out of Ted Christopher's entry. There you see Christopher with problems. He has not had a particularly good year on the NASCAR Featherweight Modified Tour.
You can see Steve Park has already gone to the lead. I'm going to tell you, he's a bullet out there right now, and he knows how to drive his modified. I want everybody in the TV audience to remember that name. He'll be in Western Cup not too long from now.
Steve Park leads him back to the stripe. Takes the top spot at lap number 9. Nose to tail they work. The front 4 have pulled away from Jan Leedy in the 5th position by about 15 car lengths, with Tim Connolly running in the 6th spot. Stefanik is 7th. The point leader, number 3, Tony Hirschman, is again that bump trap nearly sends Park into the wall.
That would almost make me a little bit mad there. He had him sideways down the front straightaway. Park did a great job of holding on to the 8 car there in the lead, but he got hit pretty good from behind. Bump draft is one thing, turning the guy sideways is another.
That was definitely out of the category of bump draft. I think that was one notch above.
Just semantics. They'll say, hey, it's a bump trap. 10 laps complete, coming to the stripe to complete number 11. Steve Park showing the way early in the 2nd of our 3 races today on TNN.
The hum of the saw, the wail of the drill, the rhythm of the plane. If you love the music of woodworking, listen to this free TV offer. It's 101 shop tips, packed with secrets from the pros like a jig for routing evenly spaced dados, straightening uneven edges. You'll get 101 time-saving tips, and you get it free when you order cabinet making for just $9.99. Packed with hundreds of full-color photos and illustrations, cabinet making shows you how to master every cabinetry technique and get picture-perfect results. Preview future volumes from The Art of Woodworking with no commitment to buy. Use your credit card and get this video, Shop Secrets from Master Craftsman, free. So call now to order cabinet making for just $9.99 and get 101 shop tips free. Use your credit card and get your free Shop Secrets video. Call now.
To order, call 1-800-895-9922. Ask for cabinet making for just $9.99 plus $3.95 shipping and handling and receive your free 101 shop tips. Call now.
Coming up Monday, from the Dukes of Hazzard to Primetime Country, John Schneider is your guest host for the evening with the Sky Kings. And from MTV's The Real World singer John Brennan, Primetime Country, Monday on TNN.
You don't see stars like this every night.
Sorry. Sold out.
Don't let this happen to you. Stay home, relax, and turn on to CMT's Big Ticket. There's no opening act, just big stars for an entire hour every night. Turn on to the Big Ticket every night at 8. Turn on to country. Turn on to CMT. Your weeknights are big with TNN Big Country. Enjoy the hottest acts on CMT presents Monday night concerts. Tuesday, go backstage and on tour with today's superstars as you hit the road. Wednesday, turn on the lights, roll the cameras, and catch all the action. You'll see the stars come out. Thursday, check out the personal side of country's legends as you discover the Life and Time series. Friday, round them up and hold on tight for Championship Rodeo. TNN Big Country. Weeknights.
We are under caution here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Carl Erickson spinning his modified between turns 1 and 2. So caution for the first time as Steve Park shows the way. He took the lead at lap number 9 and has led to this point here, the 16th circuit around the Speedway. Jan Leedy, the series pole sitter here today, already with a couple of victories. He won the Spring Sizzler at Stafford and he won at Nazareth. He's now running in the 4th spot as we are under caution. Lap number 16 here in New Hampshire.
Want to get the most out of your truck? Then get ready for the most amazing trucking breakthrough in years. It's the Load Handler, the incredible new heavy-duty smart truck tool that unloads up to 2,000 pounds of cargo in under 30 seconds. Look, Load Handler installs on any pickup truck quickly and easily. Watch, just slip it on the tailgate and cinch the straps. Ready to haul? Unfurl the drag sheet and it's ready for the heaviest load. Ready to unload? Just wind the handle. The drag sheet spools onto the roller bar. Your cargo is conveyed to the end of the truck or onto the ground. When the job is done, just release the straps and remove. Load Handler will not damage your truck. Use Load Handler for sand, clay, stone, mulch, drywall, furniture, appliances. Unloading boxes, that's a 2-man job. But Load Handler lets you do it yourself. Just bring the box to the tailgate and lift it off. It's that easy. Best of all, the Load Handler does all the work. No gloves, no sweat. Shoveling all that gravel could take hours. With Load Handler, your load is delivered in seconds. And watch this. Move up to 1 full ton in 30 seconds. Amazing! Your heavy-duty drag sheet is built to last.
After getting a Load Handler, I can't imagine owning a truck without one.
My Load Handler is the best tool I've got. It's something I couldn't do without here in the garden.
Since I bought my Load Handler, I don't have to hire kids in the neighborhood anymore to help me unload my truck. I figure I'd paid for this already at least 2 or 3 times.
Now you can own the Load Handler for only 4 easy payments of $34.95.
Hi, I'm Terry Jones, president of Load Handler Industries, and I personally guarantee your satisfaction.
So make light work of your heavy loads. Don't delay. Order your Load Handler now.
To order your Load Handler, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-570-3443. Or send check or money order for $139.80 plus $19.95 shipping to the address on your screen. Be sure to include the make model of your truck. For faster delivery, use your credit card and call 1-800-570-3443.
Welcome back, everybody. Yes, if you're wondering, the TNN Salute to Motorsports will return in 1997 at Opryland, USA, and the dates have been set already, June 25th through 29th. For more information, you can call the number on the screen, 615-889-6611, Monday through Friday, and find out all about the TNN Salute to Motorsports. Always have a great time up there. There's our cameraman, Tim DeRoyne. He drives a modified when his schedule allows. He worked camera number 2 in the first of our triple header of coverage today, giving Steve Stum a chance to flex his camera focusing muscles here in this event. So Timmy's climbed behind the wheel. Meanwhile, Steve Park is the race leader. Let's get an update from down on the pit lane.
I know Steve Park can drive. I've seen him over the last couple of years, particularly the last couple of days. I wanted to find a guy that makes this thing go so fast. This is Peter Jasper, his crew chief, and boy, what a car you got out there today.
Yeah, it's really working good. We're just going to see how the tire wear goes and probably give him a little more spoiler. That feels good.
What do you tell a guy like Park? I mean, obviously he's talented. Do you have to kind of rein him in and like take it easy, or do you just let him go wild?
Just let him go wild. You got to get to the front.
That's all they know in this division. That's why I love it so much. Good job, Peter. Now let's go to Matt.
Well, Glenn, you're a former driver. You know how tough it is to drive without power steering. I'm down here talking to Ray Holm, Ted's crew chief. What's he saying about the car?
Right now, the car's really good. He's just going to try to ride it out, maybe
try to hook up with Stephen Park and try to check out and try to get away from that 21 car. Then we can deal with it, just Stephen alone.
Well, the car was smoking severely for a little while. They're not exactly sure if a hose has come off or what, but he's going to have to muscle this one home.
Of course, remember the old days without power steering, period, buddy?
I absolutely do. And I tell you, though, if you have power steering and it goes out, it's not exactly like manual steering. It's much tougher to turn.
And interestingly, it was a graduate of this series, Jeff Bodine, who brought that power steering technology down south with him for the NASCAR late model sportsman, as it was called at that time.
Well, you know what a passenger car feels like if you're trying to guide and you cut the switch off and you don't have your power steering. That's exactly what it would feel like as we go back to racing here.
Don't try that at home. It'll lock the steering.
20 laps on the board of 125 for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour. Yesterday, Steve Park got the win over Tony Hirschman. Now it's Jan Leedy going to the outside as we have one machine spinning off to the inside and out of harm's way. Rick Fuller, who has to go to the backup machine and came from the back of the field to the front, having his problems there in the corner as Jan Leedy brings him back to the stripe. Glenn, you wanted to add something to our conversation?
Well, I can't believe how fast Jan Leedy blew by everybody, just pulled off to about a 3-4 car length lead, but he is on Hoosier tires. The Hoosier tires are quick right off the get-go. After they run a few laps, I think you'll see Steve Park retake the lead. But boy, those Hoosier tires are fast on the start.
Leedy came home in 8th yesterday as the Modified Tour ran here at New Hampshire as well. Hirschman is the 3, that blue machine at the back of that pack of cars. He is the point leader, and there you see the battle for the lead. Park, as per the cue from Glenn Jarrett, makes the move around Leedy. Christopher now running back in the 3rd spot, whatever his problems were having been rectified. Man, they dart around.
They jerk them around, and you can do that when you have 15-inch wide tires. That's actually like if you would look at a Winston Cup car, that's like having 2 more tires on the outside there.
And they snake their way down this main straightaway, trying to break the draft on everybody else if they can.
It's a little over a mile racetrack, but all the snaking going on, they run about 1.5 miles per lap.
Good line. I like that.
All right.
I like that. Now picking their way towards the front, Park and Leedy, Christopher, Marquis, and then Connolly is next in line. Tim Connolly. He has 9 top 10 finishes this year, but there goes Connolly and Marquis battling side by side, the 4 and the 21. Back to the front. Not much separation from 4th on back as Leedy now goes inside of Park and reassumes the lead at turn number 3, lap number 23.
Eli, Leedy drove into that corner so hard he washed out there. Steve Park could not make the move back under him, though. But it looks like the 2 tire companies are pretty even here. I think it's going to boil down to the car that really sticks the best. Steve Park is off just a little bit. You can see him get on the outside there. He's in 3rd place now as Ted Christopher takes over 2nd spot.
Ted Christopher, he's been in 10 Modified Tour events already this year, and his best finish was 10th here yesterday. Look at that, 8 changes in just 24 laps.
I think Ted Christopher's trying to hog up the whole day here. You saw him win the race in the Busch Grand National North. Here he is going for the lead in the turn 1.
Works down low, brings Park right with him. And Ted Christopher makes the grab, but we are far from having settled anything. Here comes Park right back.
Is that strong or what?
Steve Park just said, hey, I'm going to take this lead back. Car really goes to the center of the corner right there, and he just drives off, but they come off the corner. You know, we talk about how these cars go through the corner, but they really run down the straightaways. The speeds are so high that NASCAR has put an 1 1/8 inch restrictor plate on these guys, and they make about 550 horsepower without the plate, and they're making about 490 with the plate. With a 411 gear, even with the restrictor plate, they're estimated to enter in the corners about 160 miles an hour. If you took the plate off, it'd be about 175.
And look at that right there. Hirschman in the 3 trying to push Connolly and just force that Mystic Missile closer to the front. They're battling for 4th and 5th and 6th right now in that picture you're seeing.
if that 3 car ever gets up to the front, you see a lead change there. Ted Christopher takes over the #1 spot from Steve Park as they start down the back straightaway. It don't look like anybody's going to hold the lead very long. They're fighting all the way around here, 2 abreast.
Hirschman waiting, watching. Marquis gives him just a little bit of room. And he swings on by. Now back to the front. Can't look away from the lead at all. Here's Park and Christopher again. Leedy closing right in. You've got Stefanik in the 6.
That Stefanik has come from nowhere to go in the 4th spot. You watch this car. He come from the back yesterday. Moved right up into the top 5. You see him making a move on the inside of Leedy going into turn 3.
28 laps on the board. 125 makes up the distance, and then after this race, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, also here on TNN from New Hampshire.
Eli 2x2 down into turn 1.
Man, if you don't like this.
That's what I'm telling you.
Definitely while these guys have been swapping the lead, Stefanik's been working his way to the front. Now he's moved past Leedy safely into 3rd place.
Hirschman is 5th, Connolly is 6th, Marquis is 7th, Uinitsko is 8th. Jamie Tomeno now being shown in the 9th spot, and Ed Kennedy is being posted in 10th. 29 of 125 laps complete.
Is that the right size battery for my car? It doesn't seem to fit.
Don't worry, we'll make it fit. We've been doing this a long time.
Not going in. Just keep hitting it.
I'm not comfortable with we'll make it fit.
Why not? If it fits, it fits.
It's perfect. Good job.
Pep Boys has the right battery at the right price. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price, tires and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
When I punch the clock, I'm a working machine. I got boots that do the job, got my Wolverines. Lay a span of bridge, make that molten steel pour. I can build a better country and keep coming back for more. I can work like hell with my hands and my tools, 'cause I feel like heaven in my Wolverine boots. Wolverine DuraShocks, guaranteed comfort or your money back. Work like hell, feel like heaven. Wolverine DuraShocks, made in the USA.
Autumn. At first, fall leaves seem so beautiful. But before you know it, you're buried in them. Well, here's great news. Call the 800 number on your screen now to learn all the exciting details on the revolutionary Troy-Bilt chipper vac. It's fast. Vacuum leaves and yard debris as you walk. It's powerful. Chip branches up to 3.5 inches thick. And the chipper vac reduces yard waste up to 10-to-1. Go from this to this. Call for your free catalog now and get details on owning a chipper vac with no money down and no payments till 1997. Plus, for a limited time only, you'll get this handy hose kit absolutely free when you order. So call now and don't face fall cleanup without the help of the amazing Troy-Bilt chipper vac.
For details on our complete line of Troy-Bilt chipper vacs and how you can own a chipper vac with no money down and no payments till 1997, call toll-free 1-800-908-5100. That's 1-800-908-5100. Call now.
It's the wildest racing on the planet. A squadron of Type A personalities in a state-of-the-art fleet of racing machines. You either win or you lose. And these guys hate to lose. Get ready for a monster of a race when the circuit returns to Dover Downs International Speedway. It's the NASCAR Winston Cup MBNA 500 presented by Gladiator Vans. Next Sunday, 12 noon, 11 Central on TNN Motorsports.
Welcome back, everybody. 35 laps are complete of the 125. The NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour putting on a dandy battle. You're looking at 2nd place right now. Ted Christopher with problems in turn number 2 now. 2 teams get together, and we have caution on the speedway. It'll be at lap number 37. As caution comes out, pulling away, that's the 02 machine. And the number 1 entry, Doug Meservey. Lap number 37 as the caution comes out, Glenn.
Well, Eli just happened to be looking out into turn 2 from down here at the end of pit road. Doug Meservey in the car number 1 looked like almost he got in some oil because he did a long, slow slide, turned the car around, and as he came to a stop, another car, I didn't get his number, came up and bumped him not too hard, but 2 more cars tried to get under him. They also spun down to the bottom. Everybody was able to continue away, but for a minute there, I thought there was some fluid on the racetrack.
And there you see the problems, and look at the toe in there. You see the wheels aren't pointing in the right direction.
No, he's definitely got a bent rear, and there you see it rubbing on the bumper bar, and the tire's not going to last for long.
And there you see on the low side of the racetrack also others spinning out of harm's way. But we will continue after the second caution flag.
Rick Fuller is, yeah.
Rick Fuller, as you heard, is a man who has had some problems earlier. Fuller crashed the primary car yesterday. The car he's in today, we had showed you his problems earlier. He was in the same car that Tim Arie was driving to an 8th place finish yesterday. So they have made that swap that we had talked about earlier in our telecast. Pit stops now for some of the top teams. Jan Leedy is in. 37 laps are on the board of 125, working the second caution flag of the afternoon.
A lot of folks in Johnson City, Tennessee will tell you when you need a part for your car, go to AutoZone. The parts are top quality, the prices are low, and the people are helpful, like Gary Jennings. You see, when it comes to auto parts, folks will tell you Gary really knows his stuff. Oh, sure, they know there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Gary, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
I just feel really good, and I can really give my daughter her birthday present, which is what I promised. So that's really important to me. That I quit smoking.
New Nicotrol, a whole new and simple way to help you quit. Only Nicotrol has a 6-week program, not 10 weeks like the other patch or 12 weeks like the gum.
It could not be harder for anyone else in this world to quit smoking than me. That's how I personally feel.
6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol.
Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Pennzoil VIP Discount Auto Centers triple header is brought to you by Nicotrol. 6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol. 38 laps on the board. That's Jan Leedy. He was our Busch pole sitter, but he's just been on the pit lane. Glenn, what's the story?
Well, if you can see this fluid here, the guy's just going out to clean it up right now. That is coolant. That came out of Jan Leedy's car. They took the hood off. It was blowing water and smoke everywhere. He's got a little bit of a heating problem, so not a good sign this early in the race. He'll be lucky to be able to nurse that thing home.
And here comes the problem we had talked about earlier, Doug Meservey, who was one of 4 teams involved in the caution at lap number 37. And still you can see the problems that need to be worked on. Nice little offset on those machines, though, huh?
It really is. And, you know, that's one of the things that really helps these cars go through the corner. You know, I think their weight rule is about 56%. Really got the body shoved over to the left. That'll really make one go through the corner.
There's our cameraman, Tim DeRoyne, in his 3rd start here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Oh, Timmy is in 31st position right now. That is 9 spots better than his previous best finish. Which I guess is a nice way to say he's finished 40th in his previous starts. 39 laps on the board. Green is in the air. Christopher trying it outside. Others going low. And Christopher motors around Park.
That is the second time that Steve Park has gotten problems by staying in the bottom groove. He's been overhauled on restarts on the outside. I'm sure if it comes down to a shootout right near the end, these people will remember that he's hanging the low side and does not have the momentum on turn 2.
But on the main straightaway, he's starting to rumble again. Stefanik is 3rd. Hirschman is up to 4th spot. He's in the number 3 machine, that blue car.
Well, when Hirschman gets up there, you're going to see a guy with a lot of knowledge as far as how to draft in these particular cars. He's now worked his way all the way up to 4th. And when he gets up there, nobody likes to run with him any better than Steve Park. They might start pulling away if they get together.
Steve Park here in the 8 going for the lead. That's Scott and Patty Batchel's car. Whereas Jeff Fuller won the 93 Modified Tour Championship with that same team. So no surprise they're running so well.
Look at Stefanik go by Ted Christopher as they start off turn 2. Stefanik's going to be in the mix all day long, it looks like.
Tony Ferrari Jr. making an unscheduled pit stop at lap number 41 as you keep an eye on the racetrack. Christopher in the 13.
I don't need to draft. I have a fast car without all that.
Stefanik, though, he's the buffer between Park and Christopher. Stefanik himself, a 2-time NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour Series champion.
going down through there. Stefanik knows the closer he runs to the 8 car of Steve Park, the better they run down the straightaway. So they're right very close down the front straightaway. You see nose to tail there going down into turn 1.
And you know, he bragged on Stefanik and how well he is running those last 6 races, 4 victories, including that non-tour event at Oswego. The underlying story there is he's gone from 13th to 6th in points in that same process.
Again, as we spoke in the open, these guys, including this race, they got 4 races to go. So, you know, the championship's starting to unfold, and things are going to really get tight here.
Is it just lip service, Larry McReynolds, or do you guys indeed watch when you're at these racetracks and say, hey, that might be a talent for the future?
Oh, I think we have to, you know, because, again, you're looking at all the teams, starting a second team, the truck teams is coming along, all the Busch teams and Winston Cup teams is going to 2 and even 3 teams. The talent has got to come from somewhere. New talent's got to evolve, and you're going to have to look in these divisions, especially divisions that run at racetracks where Winston Cup teams run their races, like here at Loudon, New Hampshire.
And this is certainly not slow pitch here. No. You see a guy that has the reflexes to take, oh, we have trouble on the front straightaway.
Main straightaway, Brad Hietala will spin just shy of the start-finish line and bring out the 3rd caution flag of the afternoon. It comes out here at the 46th lap when the leaders will be coming by. Of course, Brad's family, or the business, Reliable Speed and Fabrication, they build the chassis not only for that team, but for many of the top tour teams. So it's a darn good race car, but a spin coming off the corner brings out the 3rd caution flag of the afternoon. 46 laps showing the way. Steve Park, Stefanik, Christopher, Hirschman, and Connolly. That's the top 5 here in New Hampshire.
So you're building that deck with Time Life to help you along. You might want to add some built-in benches, page 50. How about a brick patio, guaranteed weed-proof, and a lot easier on your checkbook than some contractor would be.
Now with Home Repair, you get 2 books for $2. Order decks, porches, and patios for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Those new countertops sure look good, and doing it yourself probably saved a bundle. So you could do that built-in recycling bin she wanted. Step by step, Time Life makes it easy.
With Home Repair, you get professional results at do-it-yourself prices. Use your credit card to order decks for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Home Repair makes you a real hero around the house. So why don't you give them a call? They'd probably love to hear from you.
Call 1-800-779-8484 to get 2 books for only $2. Use your credit card to order decks, porches, and patios, and you'll get kitchens free. Or send check or money order for $1.99 plus $3.95 shipping to the address on your screen.
On her next interview special, Phyllis George turns her spotlight on sportscaster Frank Gifford, Dallas star Patrick Duffy, and the original Oak Ridge Boys. Spotlight with Phyllis George, Wednesday on TNN.
He's gone from singing for his childhood classmates.
I sang Bridge Over Troubled Water. Me and Art Garfunkel did a duet together for my 4th grade class.
To performing for millions of country music's faithful fans. Turn on to CMT Showcase and get to know John Barry, including the real reason why he became an entertainer.
I could meet girls. My career, my destiny, there it was.
Turn on to CMT Showcase featuring John Barry today at 3:30.
Take 5,000 horsepower.
Down a quarter mile in less than 5 seconds.
And what do you get?
The NHRA on TNN Motorsports.
Get ready. It's a tire-turning, nitro-burning, no-slowing, piston-blowing, need for speed, take the lead, NHRA on TNN time. Live from Maple Grove Raceway Park, it's the Pioneer Electronics Keystone Nationals, September 15th, 5 Eastern.
It doesn't get any closer.
Welcome back, everybody. Continuing under caution, Brad Hietala spinning coming off the number 4 corner to the inside of the main straightaway, so we remain under this 3rd yellow of the day. Well, what do you think about all this drafting here at New Hampshire International Speedway? I like it when you see the Modifieds out there together. Some guys like it. It took a while for some to adjust. How about Mike Stefanik? Do you like the draft here at New Hampshire?
Oh, yeah, they really do. I mean, I've driven a Busch car at Daytona. In the draft here, there's like no draft at Daytona compared to the draft you feel here. These cars kick up an awful lot of air. It's a big void, kind of like a motorcycle behind a tractor trailer truck. It's an awesome It's an awesome way to pass somebody. You can have a lot of fun with it, but it can also bite you, so you got to really be careful. That's why you see a lot of guys weaving back and forth, trying to break the draft. We do a lot of bumper pushing, you know, get in behind, get in that hole, run up on the guy, and shove them all the way down the other end. I mean, you run a lot faster doing that.
Thoughts of Mike Stefanik. You know, I was talking with Carl Pasteryak in the lobby of the hotel this morning, and he was very honest. He said when they first came here, high speeds, a lot of drafting, he didn't like it. Took him a while to adjust. Obviously, Stefanik gets a charge out of it.
Well, you know, even in Winston Cup, when a rookie driver goes to Daytona or Talladega, I think it takes a while for him to adjust to that type of drafting. And again, earlier in the race, we saw here on the front straightaway the fine line, I think, between bump drafting and a good solid, hey, I'm back here. So I think there's a fine line there. And running at these speeds, weaving and back and forth, you start bumping, you know, you certainly could create a problem if you're not on top of things.
So they have cleaned up Brad Highteller's machine. He was fifth place at Stafford the other day, but not here today. He's heading to the garage area early. Meanwhile, let's get an update first on Jan Leedy. He's been on and off pit road, Glenn, recently a number of times.
Yeah, he's coming back again, Eli, and as I said, he's got an overheating problem. Things really got hot a while ago. After they worked on the car, the temperature gauge is pegged. They're pouring water in it. They've got something that's broken, but they're trying to nurse it home. However, he came down pit road too fast. NASCAR penalized him, held him until almost the caution car was here, just about ready to lose a lap. They let him go. The engine stalled, and he lost a lap, so now he's a lap down. Here's Matt.
Glenn, the yellow was a welcome sight for Ted Christopher. Give him a little bit of a breather, resting those arms as they're still fighting a car without power steering. They're going to wait until their pit window, which is about lap 65 to 80, to come in, but the car's a little bit tight. They're just going to wait it out.
Steve Park, somewhat the same, around lap 75 or so before they expect to make their pit stop.
What kind of start will Steve Park have? He's been losing the lead in turn 2 over there by staying too low, coming off the corner over there, but he looked like he got a good start here as he heads down into turn 1. Look at Stefanik go on the outside.
Same thing that we saw Christopher do earlier, just power to the outside, but within a couple of laps thereafter, Park had reassumed the lead. Oh, and problem spinning in the corner. Tim DeRoyne gets through. Caution is on the Speedway. Caution coming out at lap number 50 for the 4th time here this afternoon, as 3 or 4 machines got together in the corner, and the one that's not been able to pull away up against the wall. So problems there for Bruce D'Alessandro. Also caught up against the wall is Timmy. There's another look at what happened. Around they went.
Boom.
There you see our old cameraman there, Tim DeRoyne in the 26. Bruce Dell spins to the high side, and DeRoyne goes up against the inside retaining wall.
This looked like one of those cases where one car was out of shape and a lot of traffic behind him trying to slow down and weave around him, and they just get together, and cars like this comes out on the tail end of the deal.
So caution for the 4th time, and there's Tim DeRoyne climbing from the car, looks it over. He'll kick the tires and head back to camera 2 in time for the truck race coming up shortly.
You like the action? Do you crave excitement? Then listen up.
TNN Motorsports and Miller present the Win with the Driver Sweepstakes Year 2. We're bringing it back for repeat performance. Enter today and you can win a trip for 2 to one of these live Winston Cup races. You'll also get spending money, a complimentary team jacket, a tour of the Miller team's rig and pit, meet Rusty Wallace, and more.
Hey, cool.
And if Rusty wins the race, you get $5,000. If he finishes, you pocket a cool grand.
You feeling lucky?
To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your entries.
Get your entry in by September 20th, then watch race day on TNN September 29th to find out if you're going to the AC Delco 400. Remember, if you don't win this time, your entry is eligible for the next drawing.
Enter now.
This sweepstakes is brought to you by Splitfire Spark Plugs and 104 Plus Octane Boost.
When you build a country by hand, you're going to get a little dirty doing it. And for 100 years, America's dirtiest hands have been coming clean with lava. Pumice-powered lava, cleaning the hands that make America strong.
I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, tangy, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
Is that the right size battery for my car? It doesn't seem to fit.
Don't worry, we'll make it fit. We've been doing this a long time.
It's not going in. Just keep hitting it.
I'm not comfortable with we'll make it fit.
Why not? If it fits, it fits.
It's perfect. Good job.
Pep Boys has the right battery at the right price. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price, tires and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Pennzoil VIP Discount Auto Centers triple header is brought to you by Pep Boys. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price. Tires and service too. Everything but gas. Welcome back. Everybody kind of warding off against the early fall chill up here in New England. And there you see Tim DeRoyne's machine being pulled back to the garage area. So our cameraman, TV Tim, will look at around a 31st place finish for his efforts here today. Meanwhile, on the racetrack, Mike Stefanik shows the way as we work under caution here at lap number 53. We've had 4 caution periods, this being the 4th. Meanwhile, Glenn Jarrett has a thought coming up on the restart.
Well, ask Peter Jasper, who again is Steve Park's crew chief, why he was losing ground on the restarts. He just said simply, our tires aren't hooking up until we get a little heat in them. They need to run a couple of laps. Really, only we've seen about a lap and a half, and he goes right back to the front. So they just told Steve to take it easy because they feel like he's got the car to get back to the front. But just a little bit of a tire problem.
You know, we were talking earlier about Brad Hytella and how his company builds a lot of the chassis for these teams. The names within the modified tour among those regular touring fellows, Larry Mack, are as familiar as the names of the car builders, I should say, in Winston Cup and Busch Series. Eddie Flemke and Reggie Ruggiero together now in Raceworks. They build chassis for a lot of the modified tour entries. So I don't even want to say it's a cottage industry because this is a booming series. And it's right. You'd love to see him run outside of this particular quadrant of the country.
It really is. I mean, I've only been sitting up here in the booth for 54 laps, and gosh, I mean, this is some awesome racing. These guys take it serious. I mean, we've had more lead changes in 54 laps, and sometimes you'll see in a complete event in some divisions. So these guys are serious about their racing. Their cars are really fast through the corners and down the straightaways. And again, if you talk about some of these chassis builders and you trace it back, there's a lot of championships involved with all of those chassis builders, and a lot of them has been drivers in their own in the past history and won a lot of races themselves.
There you see the number 3 machine, third in line. That's Tony Hirschman, currently the series point leader, finished second here yesterday. Lenny Bowler still owns that famous number 3, been around forever, winning a number of modified championships. In 1994, Wayne Anderson won, Hirschman himself in 1995, and a Lenny Bowler name is as famous as a Bud Moore or a Wood Brothers or anything.
Well, if you look at that number 3, if you remember a Bouchard that won Talladega one time, Ronnie Bouchard used to drive this very car, number 3. Not this particular car. Several years back, though, he raced for this team.
As far as the points are concerned for the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour, there you see it. That is current after yesterday's race here. 133 point the separation after 16 of 20 events. And that's one thing that Larry touched on way back when we signed on the air at noon today. And this is getting to be really close to the end of the year for the Busch North and the Modified Tours. And every event now so very, very pivotal, but no different than in Winston Cup. What's just 4 points now between Terry Labonte and Jeff Gordon?
It's tight. It's tight in the points in Winston Cup all the way back to about 11th and 12th, and still a lot of racing to go.
Eli, it does not matter what division. If you say I was a champion, you can hold your head up.
Exactly.
You have
right.
to work for it.
Well, let's see what happens here. Restart at lap number 57 of 125.
Now you see Steve Park there in the lead. He went to the outside. The real on the restart for the second groove up there is much quicker. You see Steve Park, he's got about a 5-car length lead going down the back straightaway.
Dan Leedy again on the pit lane. His overheating problems will force him behind the wall now. So Leedy heading towards the garage area, or at least behind the wall for a look-see. Park by about 8 car lengths. Hirschman in the inside of the number 3 trying to make a move. And there you see Ed Kennedy with something flapping off the right rear of that Zero machine. Kennedy, they call him the frequent flyer. He lives in Texas. Here goes Hirschman.
Tony Hirschman just grabbed that car and threw it around there to the left. It almost went back the other way.
Around they go. Up in the corner after they went by in close quarters racing. Car spun to the low side of the racetrack. So Hirschman and Christopher, as they got close together up there in the corner, and around she went.
NASCAR still has not thrown the yellow flag. They're going to see if he gets going.
And Christopher does throw her in a reverse and now pulls away. And we stay under green. Lap number 58 of 125.
Boy, that's a bad deal. Ted Christopher had a good car. He's running in 3rd spot. He's really got a lot of tire buildup on there from going off in the infield. The yellow did not come out. He's almost a lap and a straightaway behind the leaders right now.
Now Stefanik wants the lead.
I think they're just bump drafted, trying to get away from everybody else right now. They've opened up a substantial lead over 3rd place.
Meanwhile, again, a look at what happened to Ted Christopher up there in the corner moments ago. Hirschman is inside of him.
Goes into turn 3 there. Hirschman has the inside groove. Hirschman's all the way down on the yellow line. Looks like Hirschman maybe moved up just a little bit. I believe Christopher held his line and just come around, and really lucky that any other cars didn't get into him as he spun down to the infield.
He just jumped on those binders to make sure the car didn't come up off the low side of the track.
Eli, it looked to me like going in there that Christopher was on the outside. He had a good line going in. Hirschman got down there and actually got the left side beyond the yellow line and got on the service road there, slid out into him. That's exactly what it looked like going into that corner.
And a lot of times that's what'll happen if you get down in that groove below the yellow line, is it'll actually shoot the car up the racetrack a little bit and into a higher groove, as it did look like maybe what happened there, as you said.
There's Tom Baldwin, the Long Island veteran who began with this tour back in August of 1986. 5 victories in his career for Tom Baldwin, who's, I guess his son still works for Ricky Craven in the Kodiak team in NASCAR Winston Cup racing, Tom Baldwin Jr. Meanwhile, back towards the front, Mike Uinitsko in the 77.
Before there's Tim Connolly, the Mystic Missile, as we called it earlier in the race today. You can see it really going well down the back straightaway.
Bob Garbarino owning that number 4. Had some great chauffeurs in that machine over the years. Bugsy Stevens, Satch Worley, and others.
Leaders get to halfway, lap 63 up on the board.
Halfway home, another official event as we beat the remnants of Hurricane Fran again.
Ooh, Connolly got way out wide there. You can see Bowen just went right on by him on the inside. That outside groove right now is there, but it's not to be used much.
Here comes the 21. That's Jerry Marquis now challenging Connolly. They're scrambling for 5th position on back.
Jerry was up there running at the front at the early part of the race, faded a little bit, trying to work his way back toward that top 5.
No change up front. Steve Park still showing the way. Meanwhile, 75, Carl Pasteryak battling with the number 5, Charlie Pasteryak. Brothers as they work there in 11th and 12th spot. Carl Pasteryak being the older of the 2 Pasteryak brothers. There's the summary. 15 lead changes among 65 through the first 65 laps. Meanwhile, up front 2 pulling away, and the separation between themselves and Hirschman now is about half of this main straightaway. There goes Stefanik for the lead.
Well, now they're far enough out that they can start racing back and forth and have a little bit of fun at this. As you see, going down in the corner there, Stefanik really goes down. But look at Steve Park on the outside there. He's measuring up pretty well on the outside.
I believe he's done figured out that outside ain't too bad a place to be.
2 4/10 seconds is what the lead they have now on Hirschman in third spot. We're at lap 67 of 125, just past halfway. Don't forget, folks, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is coming up next, also here at New Hampshire. Boy, they get it tight in that draft, don't they?
That's why they call it bump draft. They actually bump each other. 200 or 300 RPMs running that close together.
There's Tom Baldwin getting around the 0 of Ed Kennedy, the 21. Jerry Marquis. They are running for position. Baldwin in 4th, Kennedy 5th, Marquis 6th. Chris Amon now in 7th. Tim Connolly will drop back into the 8th spot. You've got Charlie Pasteryak and then Jamie Tomeno in the 99. That's your top 10 right now.
These guys are about a half a straightaway behind the third place car of Hirschman.
Got Marquis on the inside taking the spot away. These cars actually have a windshield on them that looks like a if you ever saw the fairing on a motorcycle, it looks just like the fairing on a motorcycle. The whole inside of that car is a wind tunnel that directs air directly back on the back spoiler on these things.
We gave you the top 10 moments ago as we go back to the lead again. Park still bump drafting with Stefanik, who is the leader. Behind the top 10, you've got Eddie Flemke running in 11th. Mike Uwanitzko is now 12th. Bob Park is 13th. Dan Avery is in 14th spot. 15th position, they'll show Ken Woolley. Bert Marvin will check in next in line.
Speaking of Woolley, he made a move on the outside there. They're going back and forth right now. I think what they're doing, they're working together, and one will lead about 8 or 9 laps, and then they'll give him the hand signal, let him by, to keep him running so hot by running up close like they're running.
Of course, they've lost 2 seconds to Hirschman also. Hirschman is now only 0.8 of a second back after being 2.8 seconds behind when the leaders started swapping it around. So for every good time, there is a price to pay. And we'll have a 3-way battle for the lead, I believe, when we come back.
The Country Music Hall of Fame and Time Life Music proudly presents legendary country singers, the greatest country music collection of all time.
Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou. I'm so lonesome I could cry.
Start your collection with the man who started it all, the father of country music, Hank Williams.
Tell on you. I can't help it if I'm still in love with you. We'll go honky-tonkin' round.
You get 25 of Hank Williams' greatest hits, over 1 full hour of music on double-length cassette or on compact disc, with a special price of only $9.99.
Well, why don't you love me like you used to do? Hey, Lord, I got the honky-tonk blues.
Then you'll have the opportunity to audition another legendary country singer each month. There's no minimum to buy, and satisfaction is guaranteed.
Hello, darling.
Conway Twitty.
Nice to see you.
He stopped
George Jones. Patsy Cline.
He said, so move it on over. Move it on over. Move it on over.
So call now to start your collection with the greatest hits of Hank Williams.
To order Hank Williams, call 1-800-216-9977. That's 1-800-216-9977. Or send $9.99 for 1 cassette or 1 compact disc, plus $3.50 shipping and handling to Legendary Country Singers, Department 1, Richmond, Virginia, 23280.
We are back, and we do have a new leader here at New Hampshire International, the 7th different leader today, and our 20th lead change of the afternoon. Tony Hirschman took the lead like this.
He had been catching them all along as they was racing side by side. He had been working right on the bottom of the racetrack. There he pulls it to the bottom 1 and 2. They drift up. He just drives right by both of them and pulls away as he's been doing for the last 5 or 6 laps here. He's done pulled away to about a 10 or 12 car length advantage.
Now remember, Hirschman ran here on June the 2nd and he won. He ran here on the 18th of August. He won. He ran here yesterday, came home second, and he's leading today.
He ran out of laps yesterday. He was fast yesterday also. But I'll tell you one thing, he showed some power there. But as you can see, they have quit playing with each other now. And you see Steve Park moving back up on the back bumper as they go down into turn 3.
You think they realized, hey, this ain't going to get the job done. We're going to have to get back in line.
Yeah, fun's one thing, but catching the leader is something else. They're back in line now. Look at Steve Park pull back up and try to make a move on Hirschman going into turn 1.
Of course, Hirschman has been particularly strong, as Glenn pointed out. We were talking amongst ourselves during the commercial break. Hirschman was running so much lower through the corner than were the others, and this time he drifts a bit high and Park jumped on him. We're at 78 of 125 laps. Again, a 200 lapper for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series coming up yet this afternoon here on TNN. Now we're at lap 79, Glenn Jarrett. What about pit strategies here? Before long, some of these guys might have to stop under green, huh?
Yeah, absolutely, Eli. We're right in the window right now. They told me that they could stretch it to 100, 110 laps on fuel. They don't want to do that. The tires go away. I'm in Steve Park's pit right now, and they are readying themselves for a green flag stop. Now, they said that the Goodyear guys may go for 2 tires only, just change right sides, but they're working on the right rear and the left rear tire right now, so I guess you could see a rear tire change. Matt?
Glenn, the 94 winner of this race, Mike Stefanik, their window is between lap 95 and 105. They can't stretch it that much farther on gas, so that's their window.
You also saw Ed Kennedy slowing on the track. He was running in 7th spot, the frequent flyer was, the fellow from Texas, and he slowed after running strongly up to 7.
You know, Steve Park and Stefanik were running a higher groove through 1 and 2 when Hirschman come up on them and made that pass. Now you look where they're running, right down on the yellow line. He quit using that wide line and took it away. Now Hirschman does not have the advantage he had just a few laps back.
It's almost like Hirschman showed him the groove.
81 complete of 125.
You know, with what I've seen in a lot of modified races, I don't think it'll be unusual to see these guys change the 2 rear tires. I think you see that a lot because, again, of the power that they have and spinning the rear tires up off the corner. That certainly could be the 2 critical tires to have fresh for the end of this race.
That's 5th place there. Jerry Marquis ahead of Chris Amon. Amon doesn't have the cornering ability you see there that Marquis has. But he catches right back up on the straightaway. Park, Hirschman, Stefanik, Tom Baldwin, and Marquis. Amon, then Charlie Pasteryak as caution is on the Speedway. Caution is on the Speedway, and this is going to be a break for those who have to come in and make a fuel stop. As caution is on the Speedway, they have to push Ed Kennedy's car from the head end of pit road into the sanctity of the garage area. We showed you that that car was slowing earlier. He didn't make it around, and that is going to be a big old break.
So much for pit strategy, huh? Everybody come in and get those fresh tires, get their fuel, and be interesting to see, you know, watch the pit stops with these guys. The offset of their wheels is so deep, they have to run a really long socket extension, and it's hard to have these really quick pit stops with these cars as we do with the Winston Cup or Busch Grand National cars.
So caution on the Speedway for the 5th time at lap number 84 now as the field comes across the stripe on what has become a somewhat chilly afternoon here in Loudon, New Hampshire. Again, with the inclement weather and the fall of the year, temperatures just a tad on the chilliest side, but the folks are bundled up nicely. And I'll tell you, in light of, again, how this weekend was shaping up, looks like all 5 races are going to get in.
I want to ask you something. How do you know it's cold outside? You keep it 3 degrees in here.
That's true. It's chilly in this booth, but when you look down and you see folks pulling the hoods up on their parkas, it's a fairly decent giveaway. But you're right, we could hang meat in here.
Poor Martha's got on a hunting jacket over here and shaking.
Well, I'll tell you, my wife Claudette says, she goes, I'm the only lady in Alabama who sleeps in a flannel nightgown in the middle of the summer. You know, that's just the way it is.
Saying a lot in Alabama.
Yeah, it
too.
is. It's got to keep that house and stuff nice and chilly. 84 laps on the board as we continue under caution. And here they come in now as the pit lane opens up. You've got Park at the top, Hirschman in the middle, Stefanik on the bottom of your screen as we follow the top machines to their pit stalls. Glenn Jarrett's in the Steve Park pit area. Glenn?
Actually, Eli, I'm right between Park and Hirschman. They're pitted side by side down here at the far end of pit road going into turn one. Park gets here first. Hirschman pulls in. This should be a 4-tire stop for both cars. They've all got the stuff out there. When the caution came out, you would have thought these guys had won the race in Steve Park's pits. Boy, they were really dreading that green flag pit stop, but they got a break, so they're going to get 4 tires. Let's go to Matt.
Glenn, definitely the break that Mike Stefanik and the Beal and Bacon crew needed. They're going to do a 4-tire stop and gas as well. One pit up is the 21 car, the Art Berry machine. They're feeling, and he's down and away with outside tires. Still work going on Mike Stefanik's car. Back to you, Eli.
So as work continues, let's go back to Glenn. There's a problem on Park's machine.
Big problem, yeah. They let the car down, and they didn't have the right side tire on yet. Now they got the car caddy corner jacked up. They got it jacked on both sides. Boy, they got a major mess down here right now. They've got 3 tires put on. They still don't have the left rear change. They're going way, way back in the field. What a terrible, terrible break.
Well, that's a terrible feeling for a crew and a crew chief to know you had this good of a car and you've had this kind of a mix-up in the pit road. It's the biggest thing. They got to get out before this pace car gets them a lap down. Now the car is stalled, finally gets it away, and they're just barely going to beat the pace car as the pace car comes down the front stretch. But, you know, these guys, I think the races they run really don't involve pit stops that much, so they really don't have that many pit stops to deal with during a year, and it's just experience.
So under caution, Steve Park is going to get shuffled on back. Dan Avery, who does not make a stop, takes the lead here at lap 86.
I tried going cold turkey, quitting smoking, and it didn't work because I did not have the control that I thought I had. The bottom line is I went back to smoking again. But this is working. The Nicotrol patch is really working.
New Nicotrol, a whole new and simple way to help you quit. Only Nicotrol has a 6-week program, not 10 weeks like the other patch or 12 weeks like the gum.
You know, I don't sit around thinking about, can I make it, can I do it? I know I can, and I know I can make it.
6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol.
When I punch the clock, I'm a working machine. I got boots that do the job, got my Wolverines. Lay a span of bridge, make that molten steel pour. I can build a better country and keep coming back for more. I can work like hell with my hands and my tools, cause I feel like heaven in my Wolverine boots. Wolverine Durashocks, guaranteed comfort or your money back. Work like hell, feel like heaven. Wolverine Durashocks, made in the USA.
I'm the King Grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, tangy, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
Save $10 on one of the most powerful batteries, the Pro Start, for $39.99 after mail-in rebate. Get the power you need, just $39.99. The Pro Start at all Pep Boys and Parts USA stores now.
Yeah, I'm taking a few hard bones, backed up against some high walls. Yet I keep on coming back for more. And it takes a lot of journey just to keep this old fire burning. But I'm nowhere that I haven't been before. But Lord, I'm hanging on. Yeah, Lord, I'm hanging on.
Championship Rodeo, tonight, 9 Eastern on TNN, the Nashville Network.
Getting set to go back to green. Steve Park has had to come in again to check the lug nut. It's 20th spot on the restart for Steve Park. As back to green and back to work we go. Dan Avery showing the way, having not made a stop, nor did the 16 behind him, Chris Kopech, nor did Bob Park in the 19. Then you cycle back to Tony Hirschman in the 3, next in line. But the front threesome right now, as you see others who did make stops scrambling to the front, try to hold off some of the top runners. 88 laps on the board at 125. Mark is already picking them off 1, 2, 3 at a time at the back of the screen.
Look at Hirschman there in the blue car coming up. He's the third car in the screen there. He passed 4 cars in the one corner. He is flying towards the front.
3 wide racing right there. You saw Mike Ewanitz go in the 77. There's Connolly in the 4, Baldwin in the 7. They're picking their way through from 6th, 7th, 8th spot. Eddie Flemke Jr. is there as well in the 11. Here goes Hirschman. Looks for the opening inside of Avery.
Now it's a drag race down the back straightaway. I think Hirschman has the preferred line as he heads off into turn 3. Whoa!
Avery stays to the outside, frees the car up, and lets it go through the corner just a bit.
Again, this is a sign that this second groove is really working. 2 months ago, you couldn't think about doing that here at Loudon, New Hampshire, and there he gets the momentum.
Well, he's got a lap car on the inside there, and Hirschman checked up a little bit. Once you back off on a plate car, it takes a little while for it to come back up.
A little bit for it to recover.
We are 91 laps into this 125-lapper here at New Hampshire International Speedway. I'm Eli Gold with Larry McReynolds, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, and Matt Yoakum. Those of you who are just tuning in after checking on the NASCAR Busch Series race today in Richmond, which Kenny Wallace won, we welcome you to New Hampshire International Speedway. Earlier today, Ted Christopher got the win in the Busch North race, and coming up later, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here on TNN Motorsports.
Eli, Dan Avery, I don't know how strong he is down the straightaway, but he gets into that turn 3. You watch him go in here. Hirschman trying to make a move on him. Look at him go in here. That car is strong getting in the corner.
It is really strong right through the middle of the corner up in that second groove, and he keeps that momentum coming up on the straightaway.
Avery, until 1995, last year, really hadn't run very many races on the tour. 1 start 1 year, 4 or 5 the next. This time he trips a bit wide, and finally Hirschman and Stefanik will both try and get by. Avery 15th in points right now, and what is his 16th start of the year.
Now there's a smart man. You see Stefanik, he just let his car drift up just a little bit. He took the angle off of the 10 car of Avery where he couldn't get that run through the middle part of the corner. Now he has second place secured.
While this has been going on, Tim Connolly and Chris Kopech, they're getting right in the thick of things too, battling for 4th and 5th.
And Connolly hasn't won since Lee, New Hampshire back in 1995. As you go back again to Hirschman and Stefanik up front. We're at lap 94.
Oh, we have a spin here. He's way off the racetrack. That's the road that they come into the pits with when you have real problems. You see him going back. He's going back out on the racetrack right now. No yellow.
And that's right. No caution on the speedway as we continue under the green. We have had just 5 caution flags today. There goes Connolly in the 4. Chris Kopech in the 16, both to the inside of Avery.
Look, for a while, that was working up in the second groove with Avery, but now these cars are definitely driving under him on the bottom side.
Stefanik looking wide. Looking very wide that time. Just 29 laps from the finish. It is Hirschman and Stefanik showing the way with the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series getting set to go racing here shortly.
The MBNA 200, Saturday on TNN Motorsports. The Dukes of Hazzard, weekdays at 4 and 7 on TNN.
Hi, I'm Steve Warner, the newest member of the Grand Ole Opry. You know, I was born on Christmas Day, so the Opryland Hotel built a whole new wing to celebrate.
The spectacular new Delta will make its country Christmas debut this year, and we want you to see all 4.5 beautiful acres. Beginning November 1st, accommodations at the Opryland Hotel start at just $59.50 per person. For the ultimate Christmas experience, ask for the Ultimate Holiday Package, which includes tickets to our most popular attractions. Christmas in the Park at Opryland Theme Park, the General Jackson Showboat, and the world-famous Grand Ole Opry. Dates are limited and going fast, so reserve your country Christmas vacation now. Call toll-free 1-800-316-1316.
If Opryland built all this for you, why is it called the Delta and not the Warner?
Hello, I've got a question.
26 laps from conclusion. 99 on the board. Stefanik and Hirschman again, and I'll tell you, they've been close to turning one another around here lately, buddy.
Lee, I guarantee you, Eli, what they've done, they've took the gloves off now. This is bare knuckle stuff. They were bumping each other down the front straightaway. Then you can see the head moving on the lead car down the front straightaway. Steve Park is making a run towards the front also.
He's in 11th spot after his pit stop problems of a short while ago. Not too bad. He was all the way back in 20-something with 35 laps remaining. So he's coming up in a hurry.
He knows he's got to get to the front. He's got a short time to do it. And he has an awfully good race car. A car that's capable of winning the race if he can get up back to the front. Just don't know if the laps that's left's going to allow him to do it.
They come back to the main straightaway. He's got Mike Ewanitsko in the crosshairs just in front of him. .101 on the board. Jan Leedy's back out there. If you're following his exploits, he's 27 laps down in 28th spot after the overheating problems and the like of earlier. Park still running in 11th. He's in the 8 car.
What it looks like for Steve Park right now, he might have gotten good out of those tires going back and forth through traffic. I noticed his car was moving around a little bit up off the corner there. He may have to just check up for 1 lap or so and kind of cool the tires down to make an assault again.
There's Tim Connolly in the 4, holding down 3rd spot. The 16, Chris Kopech. The 10, Dan Avery. Connolly, pretty good college quarterback. He played quarterback at Ithaca College when the Bombers went to the Amos Alonzo Stagg Bowl back in 1981. The old ECAC Rookie of the Year as a quarterback, Connolly was. Turns into a darn good race car driver. He's running in 3rd. Just 21 laps to go. There's that battle again. 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. Chris Amon running in 6th. Tommy Baldwin is 7th. Charlie Pasteryak is 8th. As you look at the leaders, Tony Hirschman, who finished 2nd yesterday and is a series point leader, kind of put this one in the bank here in New Hampshire.
Is that the right size battery for my car? It doesn't seem to fit.
Don't worry, we'll make it fit. We've been doing this a long time.
Not going in. Just keep hitting it.
I'm not comfortable with we'll make it fit.
Why not? If it fits, it fits.
It's perfect. Good job.
Pep Boys has the right battery at the right price. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price, tires and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
When I punch the clock, I'm a working machine. I got boots that do the job, got my Wolverines. Lay a span of bridge, make that molten steel pour. I can build a better country and keep coming back for more. I can work like hell with my hands and my tools, cause I feel like heaven in my Wolverine boots. Wolverine Durashocks, guaranteed comfort or your money back. Work like hell, feel like heaven. Wolverine Durashocks, made in the USA.
Autumn. At first, fall leaves seem so beautiful. But before you know it, you're buried in them. Well, here's great news. Call the 800 number on your screen now to learn all the exciting details on the revolutionary Troy-built chipper vac. It's fast. Vacuum leaves and yard debris as you walk. It's powerful. Chip branches up to 3.5 inches thick. And the chipper vac reduces yard waste up to 10 to 1. Go from this to this. Call for your free catalog now and get details on owning a chipper vac with no money down and no payments till $19.97. Plus, for a limited time only, you'll get this handy hose kit absolutely free when you order. So call now and don't face fall cleanup without the help of the amazing Troy-built chipper vac.
For details on our complete line of Troy-built chipper vacs
and how you can own a chipper vac with no money down and no payments till 1997, call toll-free 1-800-908-5100. That's 1-800-908-5100. Call now.
It's the wildest racing on the planet. A squadron of Type A personalities in a state-of-the-art fleet of racing machines. You either win or you lose. And these guys hate to lose. Get ready for a monster of a race when the circuit returns to Dover Downs International Speedway. It's the NASCAR Winston Cup MBNA 500 presented by Gladiator Vans. Next Sunday, 12 noon, 11 Central on TNN Motorsports.
Welcome back, everybody. We are under caution for the 6th time today. Jerry Marquis, very lucky to be able to pull away and get back into the hunt. Not so for Ted Christopher, though. It's been a great day and a poor day, having won today's Busch North event. And that's where exactly he is now in the Featherlight Modified Tour. Let's take a look at what happened while you folks were away elsewhere. Steve Park was coming up in the 8th.
Okay, Steve Park, but you can see the 21 has already started sideways there. And he made contact, but there was nothing he could do about it. 21 was already sideways. Marquis was sideways before he ever started off the corner.
Avery makes a great move to the inside. Nobody else makes contact but Christopher, who goes into the wall. And there Ted is, done for the day in the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour. Are just 15 laps from conclusion of this race. Then the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Steve Park's boys look on. They are up to 9th in their comeback bid here in New Hampshire.
A lot of folks in Johnson City, Tennessee will tell you when you need a part for your car, go to AutoZone. The parts are top quality, the prices are low, and the people are helpful, like Gary Jennings. You see, when it comes to auto parts, folks will tell you Gary really knows his stuff. Oh, sure, they know there are other parts stores in town, but when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Gary, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
I just feel really good, and I can really give my daughter her birthday present, which is what I promised. So that's really important to me, that I quit smoking.
New Nicotrol, a whole new and simple way to help you quit. Only Nicotrol has a 6-week program, not 10 weeks like the other patch or 12 weeks like the gum.
It could not be harder for anyone else in this world to quit smoking than me. That's how I personally feel.
6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol.
Now there he is, Tim DeRoyne, back after his ride earlier, doing just fine. Took him to the care center. Did a brain scan, charged him for a finder's fee. Then sent him back to us here at TNN Motorsports. No, Timmy was just fine. We saw him walk out of his race car after the accident of earlier, and it's good to have him back behind the controls there at camera 2. And there's the man who is behind the controls of car number 3, Tony Hirschman, showing the way right now. As we get set to go back to green shortly, 112 of 125 laps are complete. We are live at New Hampshire International Speedway.
So you're building that deck with Time Life to help you along. You might want to add some built-in benches, page 50. How about a brick patio, guaranteed weed-proof, and a lot easier on your checkbook than some contractor would be.
Now with Home Repair, you get 2 books for $2. Order decks, porches, and patios for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Those new countertops sure look good, and doing it yourself probably saved a bundle. So you could do that built-in recycling bin she wanted. Step by step, Time Life makes it easy.
With Home Repair, you get professional results at do-it-yourself prices. Use your credit card to order decks for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Home Repair makes you a real hero around the house. So why don't you give them a call? They'd probably love to hear from you.
Call 1-800-779-8484 to get 2 books for only $2. Use your credit card to order decks, porches, and patios, and you'll get kitchens free. Or send check or money order for $1.99 plus $3.95 shipping to the address on your screen.
You like action? Do you crave excitement? Then listen up.
TNN Motorsports and Miller present the Win with the Driver Sweepstakes Year 2. We're bringing it back for repeat performance. Enter today and you can win a trip for 2 to one of these live Winston Cup races. You'll also get spending money, a complimentary team jacket, a tour of the Miller team's rig and pit, meet Rusty Wallace, and more.
Hey, cool.
And if Rusty wins the race, you get $5,000. If he finishes, you pocket a cool grand.
You feeling lucky?
To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your entries.
Get your entry in by September 20th, then watch Race Day on TNN September 29th to find out if you're going to the AC Delco 400. Remember, if you don't win this time, your entry is eligible for the next drawing.
Enter now.
This sweepstakes is brought to you by Splitfire Spark Plugs and 104 Plus Octane Boost.
Field getting the 1-to-go signal here at the New Hampshire International Speedway. Well, Tony Hirschman is the leader. Stefanik in second. Connolly is in third. Matt, does Stefanik's bunch think they have anything for Hirschman or not?
Eli, they've still been trying to fight that tight condition. Barry Kuhnel, the crew chief, does Mike have anything for him?
I'm sorry, couldn't hear you.
Does Mike have anything for him?
Yeah. Biggest problem right now is the car's a little too tight, and I don't know if we can hold on to where we are, you know. The rest of the field is coming pretty good. There's 2 or 3 of us behind real good, so.
Well, he's a lead Goodyear car. These two guys are the hottest 2 drivers on the series in the moment.
Tony Hirschman opened the season with a 4th at Thompson. He hadn't finished worse than 3rd until the middle of the season. I mean, that's the kind of year he's been having.
It's like sometimes when you get that momentum going like we've had with our 2 race cars the whole month of June, July, and August. You get that momentum going, sometimes it's hard to break.
Y'all even hit the wall in sequence. Last week at Darlington.
We did do that. We've been doing a lot of stuff in sequence. Hopefully we keep this momentum going.
Heavy overcast now as the ceiling begins to come down again. It is not raining, although it is kind of spitting or misting. It's a Massachusetts mist. It missed Massachusetts and it's hit New Hampshire, I'm afraid.
You have too much time on your hands these days, I can tell.
Oh, the long way to go.
Oh, it's trouble on the front straightaway.
Major problems. Caution, needless to say, back on the track upon the restart. It's all well behind the race leaders, but there you see half the field stacked up here on the front stretch.
It's like when it got time to go, somebody didn't go, and cars started stacking up behind somebody, and they was spinning and going everywhere.
Mike Uinitsko, he's upset. He was a strong 7th. It was from that point on back that the problems really took place.
Eli, any race car driver in the country will tell you the most dangerous part of any race is restarts. You can see there just what happens is like on a freeway and one car turns sideways, there's nowhere to go, and all of a sudden it's chain reaction.
There's Charlie Pasteryak. He had a super run going. Let's take a look at a couple of different angles and figure out exactly what happened. Park is into the back of Uinitsko. Here comes Pasteryak, and that starts it going.
That started the chain reaction. Try to get sideways. People's trying to stop.
There's Carl Pasteryak to the inside, Charlie's older brother.
Look at Steve Park. He's still trying to get through that opening there. Looks like he might have got into the inside wall.
We'll take another look at it. Watch to the left of your screen, midway up the straightaway. There was the 3rd car in line.
There's Ed Flemke Jr. right there in the 11 car sideways. That puts up a stream of smoke that the guys behind him couldn't see.
Even if Steve Park had made it through there, he had got into Flemke really hard with the left side tire, so he was going to have problems whether he made it or didn't.
And this is going to take a while to clean up at lap number 116. And there you see the carnage. There's Carl Pasteryak on the wall there talking with Charlie Pasteryak. The brothers discussing things.
You know, Eli, on that restart with about 11 to go, we had 19 cars on the lead lap, and that's been reduced now to about 12, and probably some of those are going to have some damage of some sort.
Mike Uinitsko was running 7th, Matt, at the time of the accident. He had a good run going.
Mike, a little bit of blood on your hand. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Universal Weldon Pontiac was running great. Just biding our time after the pit stop, and on that restart, we got a good jump. I think Steven was trying to help me by him. He might have got hit from behind, and we hooked together, and I went that way, this way, and the car ended up in the fence hard. It's a shame. We were running really great. Car was really coming back to the front, I think.
Tough end of the day for Mike Uinitsko, still looking for his first win for Kurt Chase.
There's Rick Fuller in the Polar Beverage Chevrolet. Crew going to work on what remains of that right rear wheel suspension area.
A lot of tire there. You can see it's wrapped up around everything. Look at that rear quarter panel. That just about knocked the whole quarter panel away from the wheel opening there.
Remember, that's already a backup car. Tim Airy drove it yesterday. His brother Bobby Fuller owning that machine. So it's been a fairly costly weekend for the Fullers there. There, further work on Eddie Flemke's machine. You saw him sideways on the main straightaway. 117 of 125 laps. We're nearing the finish with the trucks yet to come.
Want to get the most out of your truck? Then get ready for the most amazing trucking breakthrough in years. It's the Load Handler, the incredible new heavy-duty smart truck tool that unloads up to 2,000 pounds of cargo in under 30 seconds. Look, Load Handler installs on any pickup truck quickly and easily. Watch, just slip it on the tailgate and cinch the straps. Ready to haul, unfurl the drag sheet, and it's ready for the heaviest load. Ready to unload, just wind the handle, the drag sheet spools onto the roller bar. Your cargo is conveyed to the end of the truck or onto the ground. When the job is done, just release the straps and remove. Load Handler will not damage your truck. Use Load Handler for sand, clay, stone, mulch, drywall, furniture, appliances. Unloading boxes, that's a two-man job. But Load Handler lets you do it yourself. Just bring the box to the tailgate and lift it off. It's that easy. Best of all, the Load Handler does all the work. No gloves, no sweat. Shoveling all that gravel could take hours. With Load Handler, your load is delivered in seconds. And watch this. Move up to 1 full ton in 30 seconds. Amazing! Your heavy-duty drag sheet is built to last.
After getting a Load Handler, I can't imagine owning a truck without one.
My Load Handler is the best tool I've got. It's something I couldn't do without here in the garden.
Since I bought my Load Handler, I don't have to hire kids in the neighborhood anymore to help me unload my truck. I figure I'd paid for this already at least 2 or 3 times.
Now you can own the Load Handler for only 4 easy payments of $34.95.
Hi, I'm Terry Jones, president of Load Handler Industries, and I personally guarantee your satisfaction.
So make light work of your heavy loads. Don't delay. Order your Load Handler now.
To order your Load Handler, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-570-3443 or send check or money order for $139.80 plus $19.95 shipping to the address on your screen. Be sure to include the make model of your truck. For faster delivery, use your credit card and call 1-800-570-3443.
Brought to you by Gladiator and Universal Luxury Bands, the official bands of tracks, teams, and drivers throughout the NASCAR world. Call 1-800-445-2825 for a dealer near you.
Still working under caution here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Obviously, the pace car speed has been dropped significantly. Now, this race will, in any event, not end under caution. There is a green, white, and checkered flag rule in the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour, but obviously, they'd like to have more than just 3 laps of racing. There the Pastryaks are. Carl and Charlie helping push Charlie's car up onto the flatbed. Meanwhile, let's get an update further from pit road.
Well, Eli, I've moved down here. They pulled Steve Park's car down at the end of pit road. They're working furiously on the left front. It broke the tie rod in. They have replaced the whole left front wheel assembly. You see them right there preparing the new one to put it on. He came in. Both front tires were pointed out. He could not steer the car. He tried to drive away. The car would still run. He just could not steer it. So what started out to be a great weekend for Steve Park has turned into a small disaster for him today.
She will be in action in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race coming up next here on TNN. And again, a look at what happened. You've got 8 Park, 77 Unitsko, and then here comes the 5 Charlie Pastryak.
Well, you see there, watch Pastryak. When he touches Steve, he turns him around there, and that's just a chain reaction there back.
So that's how it unfolded as Charlie Pastryak came upon the other 2 cars that were basically hooked together. Glenn, I see you're down there with Charlie, huh?
Yeah, and amazingly enough, Eli, he walked up to me with a big smile on his face. He stayed out there to make sure they didn't damage his car any further as they were towing it away. Charlie, seems like every time I talk to you here, something like this has happened. What happened out there?
We were coming down for a restart, and somebody got crossed up in front there, and from that point on, it's just hang on. You know, you got 8 or 10 guys in the front trying to do the best they can in some really fast race cars, and anything's going to happen. It was a fun ride while it lasted. Too bad we couldn't finish, but we'll get them next time.
You had a good car, though. You were really competitive today.
Yeah, we had a real good car. Goodyear brought a good tire. I got to say thank you to all my sponsors. I don't want to name them because everybody knows that's just a pain in the rear. So enjoy the rest of the race and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, Glenn.
I love this guy.
Charlie Pasteryak had a tour win back at Thompson Speedway in Connecticut in 1994 as the high water mark for him. Meanwhile, we saw Eddie Flemke's crew busily working on his machine. Matt, how far have they gotten?
Well, Eli, they made 2 stops. The first for flat-spotted tires. He was involved in that accident. The second, they brought him back in for a cautionary stop because they realized he had almost 4 inches of stagger, so they wanted to bring him back in and let out a little bit of air pressure.
Okay, we've got the older brother of the Pasteryak, Glenn. This is Carl. You were also involved in it. Pretty big mess, huh?
Pretty big mess, Glenn. You know, when they say when it rains, it pours. Maybe it should have rained all day. I don't know. You know, just a bunch of cars got crossed up in the middle of the straightaway and hit the inside wall a ton.
You're okay, though, but the car looked like it's pretty much trash.
Yeah, we're fine. We got a lot of work to do this week, though.
Well, we'll let you go get started. Better luck next time. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
Carl Pasteryak was 10th at Stafford Motor Speedway last week. He finished 11th here yesterday, as you saw on TNN Motorsports. Don't forget, next weekend we'll all be together at Dover Downs International Speedway in Delaware, the Monster Mile, for Saturday's NASCAR Busch Series and Sunday's Winston Cup action.
You know, you heard him talk about Flemke's car with the 4 inches of stagger. You know, these guys, whether they're on Hoosier or Goodyear, they have a bias-ply tire, what we used to run several years ago in the Winston Cup. That means you can adjust the air pressure and actually adjust the size of the tire. And probably, I'm not sure what they run with these modified cars, but I would say 1.5 inches to 2 inches would be a lot of rear stagger. So that means the right rear was 4 inches bigger than the left rear, about make the car spin out.
Don't forget, coming up in just a few moments, as soon as this event is over, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series as the green flag is in the air. And here we go, lap 120 of 125. Tony Hirschman trying to get gone from Mike Stefanik and Connolly. Brad Hightower doesn't come up to speed here on the middle of the front straightaway.
Hirschman got a good start there. He's in the blue car, the number 3 there. You see Stefanik, the red, he's just like a mirror image right behind Hirschman, waiting on him to slip one time to try to take his lead away from him.
I think Stefanik knows if he's going to get him, it's going to have to be in these first couple of laps after this restart. You see him weaving down the front straightaway.
Tim Connolly is that yellow machine closing in. Bob Garbarino's Pennzoil Dodge. Stefanik.
Stefanik seems to make a run getting in the corner, but it seems like he pays the price from the center out. Hirschman's car really comes up off the corner on the straightaway, and that really makes that car run down that straightaway. Looks like he's really beating him in that area.
Lap 123 of 125 on the board.
Here comes Stefanik. He looks to the inside. Hirschman wiggles a little bit, trying to get back in the throttle there. Stefanik is right on top of him now. Nowhere to go. He goes to the outside.
Nothing there. Or is there? It's worked earlier in the day for Stefanik and for Christopher both. They're coming to the white flag this time. White flag for Hirschman.
You see Hirschman wiggling around. He's trying to take the line away from Stefanik. Who's going to win this one? Look at the outside here.
Way wide goes Stefanik. Does he get a jump off the corner? No. But is he close enough to do it off of 4?
Well, he's going to make a run on him right here. You see him coming on the outside, trying to come all the way up there, side by side.
This is for the win here in New Hampshire. Hirschman down low, Stefanik in the red machine. It's Tony Hirschman pulling off the victory. Finishing second is Stefanik. Hirschman, the series point leader, has a win and a second in the 2 races here at New Hampshire this weekend. A super finish. A great race.
It really was, and Tim Connolly hangs on there and finishes a close 3rd.
That was something. Hirschman obviously retains the point lead with that victory as we are at lap 125. This one is in the books, and a 200 lapper for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is coming up next.
When you build a country by hand, you're going to get a little dirty doing it. And for 100 years, America's dirtiest hands have been coming clean with lava. Pumice-powered lava, cleaning the hands that make America strong.
I'm the king grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, tangy, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
Is that the right size battery for my car? It doesn't seem to fit.
Don't worry, we'll make it fit. We've been doing this a long time.
Not going in. Just keep hitting it.
I'm not comfortable with we'll make it fit.
Why not? If it fits, it fits.
It's perfect. Good job.
Pep Boys has the right battery at the right price. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price, tires and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
Well, we're back with you here at New Hampshire International Speedway. One more race in the books as Tony Hirschman outdistances Mike Stefanik at the finish line to get the win. We've got the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series going racing here in just a very short while. Larry McReynolds, that was a treat for me. I know for you too, and certainly for that man, Tony Hirschman. Let's head down to victory lane. Glenn?
And Tony Hirschman climbs out. As you said, Eli, he's had a great weekend so far. He didn't do the swan dive that Ted Christopher did, but Tony, what great success you've had here this year. Your 3rd win out of 4 trips, and the other one was the 2nd. Not bad, buddy.
Not bad at all. These guys give me a heck of a car here, and the Hoosier tires are just hooked up today for me, and I'm still a little disappointed. We only finished 2nd yesterday. I wanted to sweep this place. We had such a good car, but Steven's awful tough here. You know, he beat us yesterday, but we had a strong 2nd to him. But I tell you, everybody back home, you know, great running here, and, you know, to thank everybody, you know, Performance Technology give me a great engine, you know, Sunoco Race Fuels, the Hoosier Tires, and Lenny Bowler, the whole crew. They're just great, you know.
What great racing between you and Mike Stefanik. Both of you raced clean. There could have been some contact there, but that was exciting.
It sure was. You know, me and Mike are good friends. We've been racing a long time. You know, there's a lot of respect between the two of us. 2 different tire brands, you know. We talk about different time, different things, you know. That don't matter. We still race hard. We race together, you know, during the race, like team cars or whatever. And I'll race with Mike any day, and, you know, we had a good race with Steve yesterday. You know, these are the, you know, guys that are first-class guys to race with. That's why you see these guys moving on to different divisions, you know. We run hard.
Tony Hirschman, first-class champion. I tell you what, it's a modified crowd fixing to celebrate here in Victory Lane. I'm leaving.
All right, Glenn, thanks a lot. As we take a look at the finishing order, there you see the top 10, and a lot of fellows who weren't in there earlier did manage to survive that late race accident and move themselves up. And Rick Fuller coming home 15th after his series of problems. And then you see the top 30 and the Pasterjaks and the rest who were involved in that accident here right near the end of the event. So 2 races are done. And now the capper of the afternoon, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series is set to go as Mike Skinner will lead him to the line after Tony Hirschman holds off Mike Stefanik in the modified event.
The MBNA 200, Saturday on TNN Motorsports. The Dukes of Hazzard, weekdays at 4 and 7 on TNN.
Hi, I'm Steve Warner, the newest member of the Grand Ole Opry. You know, I was born on Christmas Day, so the Opryland Hotel built a whole new wing to celebrate.
The spectacular new Delta will make its country Christmas debut this year, and we want you to see all 4.5 beautiful acres. Beginning November 1st, accommodations at the Opryland Hotel start at just $59.50 per person. For the ultimate Christmas experience, ask for the Ultimate Holiday Package, which includes tickets to our most popular attractions. Christmas in the Park at Opryland Theme Park, the General Jackson Showboat, and the world-famous Grand Ole Opry. Dates are limited and going fast, so reserve your country Christmas vacation now. Call toll-free 1-800-316-1316.
If Opryland built all this for you, why is it called the Delta and not the Warner?
Hello, I've got a question.
3 races, 8 days, a hurricane, and some tough circumstances.
Circumstance beyond our control. The phone, TV, and the news of the world.
put us back on the train.
From Nashville, Tennessee to Richmond, Virginia, and on to the granite state of New Hampshire. That's been the schedule over the last 8 days. Today, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series sees a bit of a break at the end of a tough run. Today, from New Hampshire International Speedway, NASCAR's exciting trucks are next. It is the 18th of 24 races on the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series schedule, going 200 laps, and it's an interesting qualifying order. The North against the South as we go north of the Mason-Dixon line. The front row has a Southerner and a Northerner. Let's go to Glenn Jarrett.
Well, and starting on the pole is a guy that everybody knows in the Truck Series by 1/1000th of a second. Mike Skinner, fresh off a victory from Richmond. Can you do it again today, buddy?
Well, Glenn, I don't know. You know, this team's been good at winning 2 in a row, but, you know, we're not completely out of this points battle yet, so we've got to race pretty smart. And there's some guys up here in the front that don't have anything to lose in points. Jax, he needs to make a good statement in points. We're going to do the best we can. We're going to try to get out of there with a top 5, Glenn.
Okay, best of luck to Mike Skinner. Starting right behind him, Jack Sprague. Now, he is the guy who, when the Truck Series has been to a 1-mile track this year, he has won every race on a 1-mile track except the first one at Homestead. Jack Sprague, number 24. Watch out for him today. He'll be tough. Here's Matt Yoakum.
Well, Glenn, he may be 1-mile man, but this is another mile man, Joe Bessie. He's won here in the Busch North cars. Hey, a good start for you today. Your first start in the trucks, starting outside, kind of a north versus south thing here. You finished second in the Busch North race. Can you do it in the trucks?
Yeah, I think we can. We got a good piece here. Great to have the sponsorship from Fisher Snowplows, which allowed us to run this race here. Missed the inaugural Busch race here, so I'm glad to be part of the inaugural truck race. And it's just my kind of track. September's been good to me here. We've won here the last 2 years on the Busch North segment. And just looking forward to just taking it easy, getting the feel for these radials. They're quite a bit different than the bias tires that the Busch North cars run. Just going to bide our time until the halfway mark.
Well, he hopes a sandwich between his 2 Busch North wins here in September, a truck win.
And, of course, outside of the front row is Steve Park, who's from Long Island, New York. So, hence, you've got the North and the South, which is certainly appropriate here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Coming up, the start of this 200-lapper, $281,000 plus on the line. We're back in a moment.
It seems ironic that trucks so diligently engineered to be quiet would have so much volume. Dodge Ram and Dodge Ram Club Cab, the roomiest pickups on the road. The rules have changed.
There's no track in the world that's tougher on brakes than the one in Martinsville, Virginia. And when drivers take the green flag here, they all have one thing in common: the same brand of brakes. Because without them, you can't come down this straightaway at 120 miles an hour and still make it through the turn. So which brand do the top drivers use to get them through 500 laps at Martinsville? Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. And we stock them at AutoZone.
Arm of lumberjack.
Shoulder of quarterback.
Nerve of race driver.
Finger of pianist.
If you could distill toughness,
Mouth of sailor.
you'd have the stuff that Duraliner bedliners are made of.
Soul of tax collector.
Now you know why beating the leader is tough. The original Duraliner.
If I didn't see it, I wouldn't believe it.
If I wasn't here, I wouldn't have believed it.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it.
These people just witnessed an amazing demonstration. We put this Duraloop treated engine through the ultimate torture test. We drained all the oil, all the water, then flooded it with a fire hose. It kept on running because Duraloop protects your engine like no other product can.
I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it myself.
Now let Duraloop make a believer out of you. Duraloop, peace of mind in a bottle.
Today's exclusive TNN coverage of the Pennzoil VIP Discount Auto Center's triple header is brought to you by the new Dodge. We're thinking ahead. By the more than 1,425 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Duraliner, beating the leader is tough. As the field begins to roll, and we're set for 200 laps for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Mike Skinner and Steve Park sharing the front row. Skinner off the win at Richmond. Row number 2, Jack Sprague and Joe Bessie, his run here today. Joe Ruttman going for Jack Roush, and Bob Keselowski, a great qualifying effort. Brian Refner and the series point leader Ron Hornaday. Nathan Butke, and on down the line, there's Bobby Gill. Good to see him back on the series. Mike Bliss and Dave Rezendes, a winner a couple of races ago. Harry Gant is here, so is Rich Bickle. John Nemechek and Lance Norick in the 94 truck. Rick Corelli, and you see Boris said he qualified that truck for Ernie Irvin, but Ernie will go to the back of the field, hopping in the 28 machine. Kenny Allen and Bill Sedgwick. Rob Rizzo from Trans Am and Doug George. Bob Brevac and Lebanon, Pennsylvania's Bobby Gerhardt sharing the 13th row as the field now is 2 laps away from going green. Walker Evans and Jeff Spraker for the NASCAR Busch North Series. Kenny Bouchard, great to see him making his debut in a truck. And Mike Hurlburt bringing out the field to its full 30 truck starters. Normally, we would be showing you a number of nice in-truck cameras, but the way those machines work is that the signal is bounced up off a helicopter that hovers overhead the racetrack. But with the ceiling as low as it is, there is the helicopter. Unfortunately, not able to fly and bring you. That's what they would have to be looking through, and the conditions just not warranting to take that kind of a chance. So we'll keep the helicopter on the ground, and we trust you understand why, as we'll bring you the action of this 200 lapper. Let's bring you up to speed on the rules. There will be a competition yellow called at the quarter and the 3/4 mark of the event here today. Competition yellows, if you're not familiar, were put in when NASCAR realized that at certain racetracks these trucks just couldn't go the distance at least a halfway on fuel. So somewhere between lap 45 and 55, and again somewhere between lap 145 and 155, the yellow will fly for fuel to come on board. The halftime money from Gatorade will be paid at lap number 100. The halftime break of 5 minutes will go at lap 101. So that is the setup for today's event. If you're just joining us for the first time today, we'll mention again the turns are banked just 12 degrees. The straightaways are flat and 1,500 feet long, as this is the third event of a busy triple-header day here at New Hampshire. Ted Christopher won the Busch North Series race. Tony Hirschman a few moments ago winning the NASCAR Featherlight Modified Tour event. And now Larry McReynolds and Buddy Baker, time to go truck racing.
Yes, it is. And you know, even though we've had 250 laps of racing here at Loudon today, those divisions put a different type of rubber on the racetrack. So what I think these truck drivers has got to do is not make any predetermined calls as to how their truck's handling. Let the track get their type of rubber on it, and then see where their trucks are handling.
We've seen McCreary tires, we've seen Hoosiers and Goodyear's of bias ply design. Now we go to the Goodyear Racing radials as we get set to go. Here comes the pace truck. Mike Simons at the wheel from Marion, Virginia. He'll actually pull the car away, actually. Not a pace truck today.
Go, 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 go!
And the green is in the air. The exhorting from the pit lane to go, go, go. And indeed, they do.
Everybody went but Joe Messi. He dropped back about 5 or 6 truck lengths going down into turn 1. Look at Steve Park take the lead as they come off turn 2.
Steve Park, as they scramble, there's Bessie holding up Jimmy Hensley in the 30. Everybody else went by to the inside.
Whoa, Steve Park went in the corner really hard then and washed up the racetrack. It gives Mike Skinner a real good run coming down the front straightaway.
Now the background here is that Steve Park is subbing for Mike McLaughlin, who was to have been in Kurt Rorick's truck here today. But when the NASCAR Busch Series got rained out Friday in Richmond and they had to run earlier today, that meant McLaughlin couldn't be here, and Park hopped into Kurt Rorick's truck.
And I want to come to Steve Park.
Problems on turn number 2. Kenny Allen in the 65 truck, and Kenny Bouchard in the number 1 end up together there off the corner. And here comes Steve Park to the stripe, and we are under caution. Kenny Allen and Kenny Bouchard. So at lap number 2, the yellow flies. Buddy, let's talk about this. And Larry, you add in certainly the same. We have seen Park go from the Busch North car to that ground-pounding modified, now to a bit more of a lumbering kind of truck. How long does it take, do you think, buddy, for a guy like this, as talented as he is, but still, there's got to be an adjustment period, huh?
It has to be an adjustment, but he has practiced all 3 divisions this weekend, so he has a feel for what he needs to do. As Larry says, the good part is right now, you'll go through a learning curve, but you'll also be getting on the modified rubber that was laid down in the race prior to this. So everybody's kind of guessing right now as to what they need for later on. I think Steve Park right now has one thing in his favor. He's been on the racetrack more than most of the people out there.
Good point, Matt Yoakum. You've been hanging with Steve much of the day today. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what, Eli, this morning, if you're wondering why Steve got such a good jump on Mike Skinner, he spent the morning with Ron Hornaday. Ron pulled out a couple of his little Matchbox trucks and showed him how to restart against Mike Skinner. Obviously, it worked. He also mentioned that if he's got a restart right behind Mike Skinner, how Skinner's tendencies are to maybe fool you a little bit. But he never quite mentioned what to do if Skinner's behind you. I guess he's going to have to learn that one on his own.
Pit stops for Kenny Allen. There you see the 65 truck being worked on. And Kenny Bouchard is also in. Here's what happened again off the corner.
Looks like Kenny Allen had got sideways, tried to correct it, and it went back the other way on him, and he's sliding down the backstretch up against the outside retaining wall, and he's sitting there, and Kenny Bouchard just has to get on the binder, maybe touch the wall just a little bit with his right side.
So we are getting set to go back to green. The chief starter for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, Chris Morgan from Santa Barbara, California. He is atop the flag stand. As we mentioned, Mike Simons from Marion, Virginia is the pace car driver for this tour. Most instances, they do indeed use a pace truck, but here today, the pace car. And the green is in the air.
See Joe Ruttman now. He started out in 4th spot, has already moved to 3rd. You see him moving on the inside of Skinner as they head down into turn 1.
There's Butch Miller and Mike Bliss, the 98 and the 2, middle of the pack. Jack Sprague getting crowded there. He's in that green and white truck as he gets with Ruttman. And there goes Hornaday, the 16 to the outside, says, if you guys are going to play like that, I'm getting out of here.
I'm going to tell you what, Hornaday's brave enough to go bear hunting with the switch. Did you see that move? 3 wide going down into turn 3, and he made the move and moved all the way up to 3rd spot.
He wasn't going to be the one to back off.
No. He's leading the points by 54. Remember that, folks, over Skinner, who is 2nd in points.
Moved up to the high line in the middle of 1 and 2 and then brought it back down the bottom. Falls in line behind Skinner down the backstretch.
Now, this is not Steve Park's first time in a truck. Remember, at Watkins Glen, he qualified for Joe Nemechek, who was in Bristol for the weekend there, and qualified on the Busch pole.
So he's very familiar with the weight of these trucks and how they work.
We are 6 laps into this 200-lapper. He was also in Indianapolis. Park was. He drove for Walker Evans in that instance.
See Joe Ruttman there. He was tagged just a few seconds ago. There was a little bit of contact, but I think his truck's okay. As they go by a lap truck, as they go down in the corner there, you can see Mike Skinner coming off the corner there. He's got good drive, but right now I don't think he's quite as fast as our leader.
There is Ruttman having moved around Brian Ruffner. How about your Winston Cup driver, Ernie Irvan, having to go to the tail end of the field because of the driver change? What kind of a challenge as we watch the scramble now between Ruffner and Butke for 6th and 7th? How much of a challenge for Ernie Irvan? Is he like that almost?
Oh, I think he enjoys it. Then just looking at scoring, he's picked off about 11 positions in 7 laps. So I know he's really enjoying that. And I know he told those guys, he said, look, here's the setup that we won the race with back in July. You put this under this truck, let Boris qualify, and no matter what, don't change that truck. So he come in here cold this morning, and looks like he's moving up steadily. And I know he's probably pretty proud of his 44 truck right now, because they struggled the other night at Richmond.
And that's for the lead right there. Mike Skinner grabs the spot away from Steve Park. He will take over the lead here at lap number 9. So our first lead change of the afternoon for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Mike Skinner shows the way in New Hampshire.
If you're looking for America's most trusted name in batteries, it should be comforting to know that Die Hard can now be found in over 1,200 additional locations. Western Auto and Parts America. Serious parts, serious savings.
Drive your car with confidence this summer and save $10 on the best Die Hard you can buy. That's right. Now you can get America's most trusted name in batteries, the Die Hard Gold, for just $69.99. Western Auto and Parts America. Serious parts, serious savings.
When I punch the clock, I'm a working machine. I got boots that do the job, got my Wolverines. Lay a span of bridge, make that molten steel pour. I can build a better country and keep coming back for more. I can work like hell with my hands and my tools, cause I feel like heaven in my Wolverine boots. Wolverine DuraShocks, guaranteed comfort or your money back. Work like hell, feel like heaven. Wolverine DuraShocks, made in the USA.
No matter what kind of truck or 4x4 you have in your garage, we've got the tire you want in ours, like the Bridgestone Dual or APT Light Truck Tire. It runs smooth on-road and tough as nails off-road. Right now, it's on sale at Sears at our lowest price ever. So for a great deal and the best of both roads in one tire, take a look at our garage. Sears Auto Center.
I tried going cold turkey, quitting smoking, and it didn't work because I did not have the control that I thought I had. The bottom line is I went back to smoking again. But this is working. The Nicotrol patch is really working.
New Nicotrol, a whole new and simple way to help you quit. Only Nicotrol has a 6-week program, not 10 weeks like the other patch or 12 weeks like the gum.
You know, I don't sit around thinking about, can I make it, can I do it? I know I can, and I know I can make it.
6 weeks, 1 step. Take control with Nicotrol.
Mike Skinner leads for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Welcome back, Eli Gold with Larry McReynolds, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Matt Yoakum, the entire TNN Motorsports crew here with this big triple header of racing. Skinner is the leader, but the story may be the guy in second spot, Sprague, or potentially Mike Bliss there in the number 2 truck. He and Jimmy Hensley now working in the 9th and 10th positions, respectively. Bliss likes some of these flatter, mild tracks, I should say, but certainly no better than Jack Sprague. Sprague, he's in that green and white Quaker State truck right there. He is going for a sweep of the Series 1-mile tracks. He already has wins in Phoenix, a win at Nazareth, Pennsylvania, a win at the Milwaukee Mile in Wisconsin back in July. So he'd like to sweep up that whole package here today.
Eli, what a great break for Steve Park. He's running against 3 of the best in the truck division, and there's some talk that he is going to move into this division for next year. He can sit there and watch what 3 of the best of all times in the trucks, how they run around the racetrack and what they do to really get an advantage.
Well, this is what, the 4th of 5 events that are being run on tracks where this series has never run. They've yet to go to Las Vegas later in the season. But as far as being on this racetrack in these kind of vehicles and these trucks, nobody has any more experience than anybody else.
That's exactly right. But you know, and I think that's one reason NASCAR could see justice to schedule Richmond, Virginia on Thursday night and here on Sunday, is because the setup for these trucks, other than maybe a little difference in gearing, is pretty close. You didn't really have to change a whole lot as long as you didn't have a problem at Richmond. There you see Joe Ruttman. I believe he's got the fastest truck on the racetrack right now. His truck, he's really able to drive it in deep. It really sticks on the bottom, and he's zooming in on that number 1 spot trying to overtake Skinner.
Winless this year, I'm sure that Joe Ruttman would certainly like to put this Roush truck right in the winner's circle.
There you see how he has advanced through what is now 17 laps. Outside Ruttman, outside Sprague. It happens that quickly in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Skinner goes from first, potentially, to third or fourth off the corner.
He's got a problem. He's not running
Looks
down
like
the straightaway at the moment.
They'll give Joe Ruttman the lead now here in lap number 18.
Skinner's definitely off the pace.
Skinner's got a problem. Glenn, what are they saying down there?
Saw some smoke come out of the left side exhaust switch. Do you have a problem?
Yeah, right now he said the motor isn't acting right, so we're not sure what it is right now. We'll just have to see if we can finish.
All right, so he's definitely got a problem. As he went by the lap, 2 laps ago, just as he passed the start-finish line about halfway down to turn 1, big cloud of smoke came out of that truck.
There goes Hornaday bypassing him. Now remember, Skinner was 54 points down, and there you saw the puff of smoke again. Skinner's win on Thursday at Richmond did clinch the manufacturers championship for Chevrolet trucks. But he's looking at the big picture right now, and there's another puff of smoke. He may not like the picture he's seeing here this afternoon. 19 of 200 laps are in the books. Joe Ruttman, having taken the lead from Steve Park, and Mike Skinner now leads here in New Hampshire.
There are a lot of different names a Chrysler Corporation vehicle can go by. Whether it's on the track, off the track, or on the road. But there's only one name you need to know to keep them going. Get real. Get Mopar.
I'm the King Grill.
Oh, yeah?
Baby, you know who's boss. Give me a 2-inch thick T-bone with spicy, tangy, Heinz 57 steak sauce.
Yeah, you're cooking now.
Let's eat.
After I've forgotten all about us, the song remembers when.
Trisha Yearwood, Mark Colley, and the band. The Road, TNN Tuesday.
It's like watching the